to look at the Padres and still have a lot of hesitation and doubt in the way they've been playing.
No, I agree. It's kind of like, what did we say? I think it was actually yesterday. It's like, is the one hit against Dustin May going to be the complete story of their season? No, but it's discouraging. And is there matching a season high 14 hits today and salvaging game 3 of a series that they lost going to make or break their season? No, probably not. But it's at least the opposite of discouraging because they did something. And it was actually the way they did it was with their players that we talk most about. It was with Fernando Tatis Jr. 3 hits and with Jackson Merrill 3 hits and with Manny Machado producing. Xander Bogaerts even in this game produced as well. So it's 1 of 162. Would you agree with my general thought process?
Trying to get the angle here. Give it to me.
I mean, the angle is they're just treading water. I'm not sitting here praising them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm set but it's a lot better than the alternative of them losing. And I think if you take the step back and say, well, they're 3-3 to start a 9-game road trip that we said go 5-4 on.
Yeah.
Well, it's still in front of them.
Yeah. I would tell you if, coming into the road trip, would you take 3-3 through the first 6? You would say yes.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of this is just based on, I think we had AC on, we were talking to Kevin before the road trip, and I want to say, laid out a question of hey, how would you deem a successful road trip?
Right.
And I said 5-4 for me. I'm looking at that as a successful road trip. AC might have said 6-3, and that was based off of, hey, are they turning a corner? They're coming off winning 4 of their last 6 games. I just have a difficult time thinking that was realistic. So, yeah, is 3-3 based on how the Padres have been playing? Would you take it? You will. The further you look into the details, you still got a lot of areas with this team where there's some frustration, there's inconsistencies, there's doubt, there's a lot of things that stack up when you talk about the Padres, and that's been the case. That didn't start over this last 6 games or this last 10 games. This has been going on for at least 30 days or so.
We're going to hear from Craig Stammen in a moment because, Brent, we have the post-game audio, right? But I will say this, that yesterday after they lost 3-2 and didn't have a base runner until 2 outs of the 9th inning after the 6th inning, Craig Stammen said post-game, it gets to the point where it's a little frustrating. Talk about what do you mean a little frustrating? We need to do something about it, is what Craig Stammen said yesterday. Where does this start here today, Brent, with Stammen? This starts with the offense, not with the pitching, not with Griffin Canning. It starts with the 14 hits today for the Padres.
Yeah, guys on base all day is nice after the first 2 games here, but I think we've been trending in the right direction. The first 2 days made us doubt that a little bit, but I think those guys showed that they're starting to get back on track, and a few balls fall in, creates a little bit of confidence, a little bit of good feeling, and then we can take the rest from there.
At bat by Samad in the first there, is that what you were thinking when you moved him up?
Yeah, I hope that's what you're hoping. A guy that's been swinging it well, seeing pitches well, creating a little bit of havoc. Mix up the big boys a little bit, see if they can get somebody on in front of them that's got some speed, and then figure out a way to score a run. And he did that for us.
Just scoring early also take the pressure off a little bit and get you all pointed the right direction in the first inning.
Yeah, definitely. Whoever scores first has definitely got an advantage. And we've struggled a lot in the first inning this year, and to get a run in the first feel really good in the dugout, and especially this series. The first 2 games took us a while to even get a base runner. So to get a base runner and then put a run across the board, definitely help morale and give some confidence to swing the bat freely the rest of the game.
Think about how Canning responded today.
Yeah, he did great. After a couple tough outings that he's had, he bounced back and threw the ball really well against a pretty tough lineup. And, he hung in there even with some traffic there. I think it was the 5th inning. Did his job and got out of it.
You hung in there with him. With Yuki ready and Burleson coming up, what was your kind of thought there?
Yeah, a little bit. I was probably more... Ruben kind of talked me into letting him go, giving him some confidence in that, and I think it was definitely the right decision, even though Burleson got a hit. He was executing his pitches. The pitch that Alec hit was a really good pitch, up and in heater, and he executed it, and, he got a jam shot single. As a pitcher, and you're pitching 4, 5, 6 innings, that's going to happen. So I think being able to stick with him there in a 3-0 game, hopefully that breeds confidence for him. It shows that we have confidence in him and that we're not just captain hooking him every time.
I'm going to get Velasquez to the plate this time around, a guy whose whole job is to hit lefties, to pick off that Kyle gets. How much of that changed that inning and also changed the game a little bit, too, to stabilize it?
Yeah, definitely huge. I think bringing Kyle in, he brings that element. When a guy's on first, that's a base stealer. He has the ability to, control the running game really well. He's reading that runner. That runner takes off. He can make his pickoff move, and that's a huge play in the game. Huge play in the game. And Velasquez definitely a tough at bat for a lefty, but Kyle, the way he's thrown the last 2 days has been pretty amazing. So felt good with him on the mound there.
Is that when you went with Kyle in that situation? You're like, I'm going to get a pickoff? Or
I mean, there's a part of that is like, he's better at it than the other lefties, and you're not hoping somebody's on base when he's doing it, but he does bring that element into the game. I can't say I'm smart enough to be like, yeah, that's why. The main thing is we felt he was good matchup for the lefties coming up and then the guys that they were going to pinch hit for him.
But also in the spot too where you would have Matsui at the top if you needed to go back to him later.
Yeah, definitely. We could, we felt that, if it didn't go so well for Kyle, we had other guys that we could go through at the top of the lineup to hopefully shut the inning down.
He's swinging a hot bat for you.
Yeah.
He's swinging a real hot bat.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's 3 more hits today. Starting to see some swings that we're accustomed to. Burned the center fielder with a nice 111-mile-an-hour line drive. So, it's we're excited about where Fernando's at right now.
All right, Craig Stanton, postgame Padres win 6-1. I don't know if Tatis has been over a 700 OPS this year, other than like a day. I don't know, maybe the first day of the season, but he's now over 700. Now, this speaks to some of the, is the bar lowered? He's just continually been improving, I would say, over the last month. Like, if we looked at his numbers over the last month, yes, he's still lacking power, but he's been on base a great deal. As we talk about the scuffling offense, I think Tatis has kind of been like the aberration in there, that he's been a constant in terms of getting on base here over the last month.
Honestly, I mean, only thing I could complain about, like everybody else would, is he's only got 2 home runs.
Yep, I agree.
Guy's been balling.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not pretend here. He looks like as comfortable as he's ever looked all year at the plate, as aggressive as you've seen him, a little bit of that swag back. I know it's a little bit different. It's not like here's the swag because I'm about to mash a 450-foot home run, but he's on the base. He's on base all the time. He is of the. Again, I want to stop doing this. I don't want to call them stars. If you're gonna, the term star should be used for guys who are performing like stars, and there's plenty of players that aren't on the Padres. But of all the big names that are on this roster that are in that lineup day to day, he's the best one. I mean,
I think it's clear as day right now. But to your here, let's take another step back.
Okay,
is this a mirage? Like, just in general, they're 3 games over 500. They've got a negative run differential.
What do you mean? Give me the definition.
Is this what are we doing? What were the song and dance we're going through with the Padres?
Yeah.
For what? Best case scenario, 6 seed? Like, is that what we're saying? I mean, things can change. We'll talk about trade deadline candidates in a few minutes, but I think
best case scenario is you have enough teams in the NL that are also not good, and they're fighting for a 5th or 6th wild card.
So the reality is set in that this is just it. There's no 10-1 stretch. There's no top 10 offense for a 40-game stretch. Like, is this just it? This is what it is. You have to grind through this with us for another 3 months.
To have home field in a wild card spot. Right?
Yeah.
You would have to be the 4th best record in the NL.
Top non-division winner. That's where it gets
top
weird.
Non-division winner.
Non-division winner.
So that's what
it's
it is.
Not necessarily the 4th best record,
right?
Because
But
of another division.
The Dodgers, Atlanta, Milwaukee, they win their divisions.
So then you're the 4th.
So then you're who do you think sitting there right now today?
Philly.
St. Louis.
Oh, St. Louis is sitting there.
Cardinals are.
I think ultimately, I think Philly will get there.
Fair enough, right? Like, I don't think anybody's going to argue that. By the way, there's so many teams that are just mid right now. Let me give you a couple of these, okay? Cardinals, but they got a freaking good record. I mean, Cardinals 8 games over 500.
Right.
Philly 6 games over 500. And then look at this just straight ugliness with everybody else trying to grab that final wild card spot. Okay?
Pirates.
Padres are 3 games over 500. Nationals are 3 games over 500. Cubs are 2 games over 500. Arizona's 1 game over 500. Pittsburgh's at 500. Miami is 1 game below 500. Brother, you have 6 teams there within 2 games of each other. So when you say, what are we doing this whole exercise for?
Right.
It's a very valid, fair point. Because you're not watching the Padres unless we're BSing each other, which I'd prefer that we don't. you're not watching them. Nobody's saying like, oh, this is one of the teams.
This is it.
And there's only a handful that can say it. I think Milwaukee can say it. I think Atlanta could say it. I think the Dodgers can. And I agree with you on the Phillies. That's a dangerous team, and we'll see what happens at the deadline. The problem with the Padres is if you want to be aggressive at that deadline, you probably got 4 or 5 other teams in the NL that are also saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not talking about the AL, but the AL is obviously going to be going for the same
Teams
players
too.
that are available that could come to the NL as well. So I think that's the best description. They're That's what they are. It's, you go to a restaurant and you're like, hey, this is a very average restaurant. That's the San Diego Padres. That's what they are right now.
It's kind of like
they're a very average restaurant. More times than not, you're going to say, that was very average. That's what they are.
We'll see if average is enough, so to speak, in the National League or not. Speaking of the upcoming trade deadline, the ESPN and Jeff Passan linking the Padres to 5 of the top 10 players that could be available at the deadline.
Need some
Who
salt
are
on
those
there?
players?
I don't know. Give me a side of hot sauce. Hey, give me something here.
We'll tell you on the other side. Plus, Warren Barton, Fox Soccer, will join us at 3:30. This is Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey guys, it is Schaefer again for my friends at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Get there this summer and enjoy World Cup watch parties at Tony Gwynn's Sports Pub. You can catch every match on the big screen at Tony Gwynn's during their World Cup watch parties. Enjoy game day specials, great food, cold drinks, and an electric atmosphere for every match. Grab your crew and experience all the action with Jamul Casino Resort. You'll absolutely love the hotel and spa at Jamul with the elevated luxury, refined hotel stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, all the excitement of Jamul Casino Resort seamlessly brought together in one unforgettable destination. Now you can take your stay to the next level. They have exclusive hotel packages crafted for the ultimate escape. While you're there, make sure to check out all of their dining options, including Jamul 23 with their lobster buffet. Every day, enjoy all-you-can-eat lobster every day, plus dozens of other delicious stations. Start your morning with their new signature breakfast buffet. That's Monday through Friday, 8 to 10:30 a.m., featuring made-to-order omelets, fresh fruit, and sweet and savory favorites at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
I think this is my favorite beat of the beats.
I like.
Whenever you're ready to turn on your
this
freaking
beat.
microphone, man. As I say that, I don't have my stuff ready myself. America's Turn at 250. San Diego Sports 760 is celebrating with $250,000 in cash. Listen for your chance to win. $2,500 so you can take the ultimate American getaway. Visit the states, the cities, landmarks, and national parks that make our country amazing. Win your share of $250,000. Just listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win is coming up after 5 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760.
All right, Warren Barton, Fox Soccer, will join us in 9 minutes. So a handful of moments here on what Jeff Passan published today with Kylie McDaniel at ESPN. He's got a list of 100 potential players available at the trade deadline. 100. I mean, it's
I got a list of 400.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Then you should work for ESPN. I have a list of 4,000.
See, 377. You'd be shocked.
How many players are there?
This is like that part in Moneyball when Brad Pitt asked Jonah Hill, like, well, how many players did you evaluate? He asked you to do 4. He's like, I did 237.
I did them all. I
That's
evaluated every player.
Like kiss ass in that movie. I did 237.
I mean, this is such a lengthy piece. It's not just a list of 100 players. It's a write-up on 100 players and then best fits. And then they list between like 3 and 7 teams per player. Well, guess what? Of the top 10 in the top 100, the Padres are a best fit for 5 of them. And of the top 20 players that may be available, the Padres are linked to 10 plus. I think it's 11 of the top 20 players. So here are the players in the top 10.
Before you get the players,
Okay.
before you list those out, can we stick to the concept real quick? What is our view right now, today as we sit here? How aggressive would you be? Let's fast forward 30 days from now and it's the exact same position in the exact same standings.
Yep.
The concept of making trades at the trade deadline. If you have to like layer it, there's 3 layers to it. Most aggressive, middle ground, and like not aggressive at all. Which 3 are you in?
Well, I'll just go up on my hunch of what the organization will do.
I want you.
I'm aggressive by nature. Like I don't like punting, especially with this old team with all the money invested. So if they're 4 games over 500 and 1 game up at a playoff spot, I'd be in the second category. I'd be aggressive.
Second.
Yeah.
Not the most aggressive.
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not.
If you would have said most aggressive, honestly, I'd have lost my mind.
I think they'll be very aggressive. Based on everything that Annie said yesterday, I'm in line with what she's selling. They've got this massive fan base. They've sold all these tickets. They have a new ownership group. And this is who AJ Preller is. A leopard doesn't change his spots. Why would they change now? What's the reasoning?
I'll tell you. I'll give you the reasoning.
Hasn't worked?
The team's not that good. That's the problem.
I agree with that.
That's the issue.
Problem.
So the issue is, like, I'm all good with let's be aggressive because it makes sense. If you're trying to be aggressive, like, let's put it this way. Let's use Skubal as an example. Are the Padres a Skubal away? As great as he is, are they a Skubal away of, again, emptying the farm system because they're that close to winning a World Series? Or are they better off like, hey, we need 3-4 different things?
But that's who he is. Last year, he made 4 trades.
But I'm not asking, that's why I'm not having the conversation of let me put yourself in AJ Preller's shoes. I'm not saying what is AJ Preller going to do. I'm asking what we've seen so far this season. Is this a team that's screaming, freaking put all your chips to the center of the table?
They're not screaming. They're not screaming that. They're not. But
that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, but on the other side of that equation is like, are they going to be screaming that in 2027 or 2028? So like, is it your last best chance? And are you getting further and further away with each passing season?
I think like it's like sometimes I get a migraine saying like, are we all watching the same thing?
No, let me read these names real quick because we have more important.
Yeah.
Okay, so Byron Buxton is the number 2 potential available player at the trade deadline, center fielder for the Twins. He's linked to the Padres. Beyond that, the 4th ranked player is a starting pitcher for the Twins, Joe Ryan, right? A right-handed starter. He's linked to the Padres. Beyond that, the 6th ranked player, Reed Detmers, left-handed pitcher for the Angels, is linked to the Padres. The others in the top 10, another right-handed starter, Jose Soriano with the Angels. And then beyond that, You've got Wilson Contreras, first baseman for the Red Sox, and then Sandy Alcantara. So it's actually 6 of the top 10 players are linked to the Padres. So I guess I would look at it this way as well. Why would the Padres, according to Jeff Passan and Kylie McDaniel, be linked to so many of these highly available,
and
the most
nobody said
impactful
anything.
pieces at the trade deadline?
Every big name you could think of around Major League Baseball, nobody has said anything other than, yeah, well, of course, Preller's going to be aggressive.
Right. True.
My frustration is less on Preller, to be honest. I mean, I could be frustrated with Preller. My frustration is they got so many players that have just underperformed. That's the frustration.
I agree with you completely. I mean,
now listen, they've also had a lot of injuries, and I think the Nick Pivetta thing was obviously absolute backbreaker for the Padres. We never saw Musgrove. Camposano started hitting all of a sudden, then he's out. I mean, there are players that certainly could help the Padres that haven't been available, but I'm just watching a product every single day, and it's like, hey, just because if the chef keeps dishing out average food by changing the silverware and the plates, the food's still going to be the same.
What about the ingredients? Because that's what we might be talking about.
Yeah.
If you're adding this caliber of a player, but we'll see. Warren Barton, Fox Soccer. He's been on the call to begin this World Cup on Fox Television. He'll join us from Mexico City. He is in Mexico City. He'll join us live on the other side. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, DraftKings Sports is live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, California. The whole world is watching one tournament right now. Group stage chaos, knockout drama, stoppage time, heartbreak.
All right, the DraftKings Sports app, of course, now live in California. So whether you're catching the early kickoff before work or the late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app right here in California. The world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers, sign up with the code SD760. Spend $5 to get $200 in total rewards. That's code SD760.
In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends June 28th. Terms dkng.co/predictions promo.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres beat the Cardinals today 6-1 to avoid a sweep. Their next series, they'll move on to Texas to take on the Rangers. We had a couple finals today in the World Cup. Portugal and Congo tied at 1 apiece, and England defeated Croatia 4-2. You can hear tonight's match between Colombia and Uzbekistan right here on San Diego Sports 760 tonight at 6:30. A bent tie rod can quickly bring a drive to a halt. For those parts needed to get back on the road, visit rockauto.com. Find a wide selection of quality parts at reliable low prices delivered right to your door. All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, open to connect with Warren Barton, Fox soccer analyst. He's been calling World Cup matches this tournament, and he is in Mexico City, where what a scene that was to open the tournament with Team Mexico. They'll be back in action tomorrow. We're going to be in Chula Vista, broadcasting from 2 to 5:30.
What's going on with us?
What, going out?
You and I are in Chula Vista tomorrow for the Mexico match, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Then 48 hours from now, we fly into Monterrey, Mexico.
Yeah, on my private jet. That's
private
right.
Freaking jet.
Yeah, I'm going to fly you down there.
Unbelievable.
No, I'm looking forward to
contacts and connects you have for this private jet.
I'm looking forward to the whole like flying out of Tijuana.
Yeah.
Right. That whole experience, because I've never done that.
I haven't.
We cross the border and then we fly nonstop to Monterrey, experience the city.
For those who don't know, we're going to Japan,
Tunisia.
Saturday night. By the way, if you're watching the World Cup,
you'll see us,
which has been phenomenal so far. We'll get into that in a second. But last night was a perfect example of it. How great are these late kickoffs?
Yeah, but it's almost like the NCAA tournament where it's on all day.
It's incredible.
It's on all day. You get it. What time was the match?
9
last night. It ended like 11:15. It ended
the game on in the
Pacific.
background the whole time.
And I was like, "Where is this game?" It was in San Francisco. It was packed. So like 11:15 Pacific.
What has been what's been your experience so far with the World Cup? What do you think so far?
I think it's been highly entertaining, and the reason I like the expansion from 32 to 48 is I feel like it's created so much more scoring. And what I mean by that is like you just don't have best on best. There's more variance in there. You have good
best on best will come.
It's going to come, and you have great. I mean, listen, you've had amazing results. The Spain draw, that was scoreless, was incrable.
Today Portugal,
Congo. Yeah, so I've found it very entertaining. And look, how many goals per match on average have been scored? It seems like a lot. England, Croatia today 6 combined goals. It's a big number, right? 6 goals.
Yeah, it has. And you got star power yesterday, just complete star power. Mbappe coming in with 2 goals. How amazing was Lionel Messi yesterday? Like, come on, like, what are we doing here? What are we watching? And I think I don't know if this feels different to you than in other years, maybe because a lot of these games are in our time zone, maybe because a lot of these games are in the States, however you want to describe it. But the World Cup this year feels bigger to me.
Yeah,
it feels bigger to me. I don't know why it does.
Because it is bigger. I think by going from 32 nations to 48, first of all, that's 50% expansion. And by going from 1 nation to 3, there was that one year, I forget what it was, and it was like Korea, I'm making this up, Korea, Japan, and it was 2 nations. But this is a continent. Yeah. We're playing at like 16 cities. It's typically held in like 6 or 7.
Yeah, you're right.
So I just feel like they've opened it up to so many more. And to your point, everywhere I go, by the way, I'm seeing people either consuming it or
the game,
wearing like jerseys.
Everybody.
I just went for like a stroll on the beach today. I saw like 10 different national team jerseys, different ones, just strolling on the beach. So I do. And San Diego is such a perfect place for it. Even though we don't have it, it's still such a great place to consume it. That's a whole nother conversation.
That was a tough one right there.
We would have it in a different world.
Yeah, I was noticing that yesterday. When I saw the game at, was it yesterday? It was at Arrowhead.
We saw Argentina at Arrowhead, and then that last game was in San Fran.
The Argentina at Arrowhead, it's impossible not to be like, wait a minute here. We'd have figured out this NFL stadium thing. Nothing you can do about it now, but it's
Right.
it's tough for me not to go back and be like, oh, we would have definitely had World Cup games. It's tough for me to think like, oh yeah, we would have definitely had some of these big time worldwide events here in San Diego.
Like the Super Bowl.
That's why I'll go back to this. I know we spent a little bit of time on this yesterday, the Midway Rising. Can't screw this up again, period. Like, I know people can look at, well, it's this and it's that, and we can make all the excuses of why the Chargers left and we don't have an NFL stadium and all that stuff. At the end of the day, there's nothing that's going to unite a city more than sports,
Right.
period. And you do need these top-notch facilities in order to draw these leagues over or these special events like the World Cup. We can't screw up again. That's all I'll say. Like the Midway Rising thing to me, and that one is very, very important. And listen, whether that drew in another pro team or not, we can't freaking screw it up again, because there's other cities out there that are not 10% what we are here in San Diego, yet they have these big time events.
Yeah, I mean,
That can't happen.
At least I would say this: the fact that Snapdragon came to fruition so quickly afforded opportunities like Olympic soccer, professional soccer, both leagues, domestically, obviously, women's and men's at the highest level, and everything else that's come at Snapdragon Stadium. Who knows what the future holds there? I mean, we might see women's World Cup matches at Snapdragon Stadium, pure speculation, but the Women's World Cup, I think, is here in 2031. But to your general point, when that all came to fruition 10 years ago, when we're talking about the Chargers Stadium project, yeah, like there were two paths, and one of them would have included future Super Bowls. I mean, San Diego's hosted 3. It would have been in a rotation to host it every 5th year. And then, of course, the World Cup. Like, you went on a path that wasn't going to include the Men's World Cup, because you have to have 60,000 plus seats.
Yep.
And it wasn't going to include a Super Bowl or an NFL franchise, because you don't have a stadium of that size.
I'll say this. I think there's two ways to look at it. Everyone effed up. Like, let's not BS each other. Everybody did. And I think for me, and I think for a lot of San Diegans, you feel the same way on this. Every time you see these worldwide events that some of them are just 2 hours up north in Los Angeles, I'm like, how's that not out here? That could have been here. That could have been in San Diego. The one thing I will say, I do think that plot of land where Qualcomm used to sit, they have done the absolute best under the circumstances. San Diego State University has done the best under the circumstances. Sure. You're housing football for college, which is a perfect stadium for college football, and hopefully becomes one of the absolute main attractions in San Diego. Is that place is packed for San Diego State football. It's perfect for the MLS. It's perfect for the NWSL. So they've done as best as they can with what they have. But in a perfect, ideal world, obviously, an NFL stadium would have been here.
It's funny because when I was walking the beach earlier today with my wife, and I said to her, I'm like, I have a feeling there's a lot of people that are in the U.S. and going to World Cup matches that are here right now. Now, again, not because the World Cup is in San Diego, but because it's in Southern California, or just in California in general, or in the country.
Sure.
I just had a feeling walking the beach today, like I told you, I saw like 10 different jerseys. Yeah. I just felt as if people were visiting San Diego while also taking in the World Cup. It just had that feel. And what could have been, obviously,
or
if it was
they're
actually in
LA
city.
going to a game and they're coming international, and they're like, yeah, we're going to definitely stop by San Diego if that's going to be the case.
Exactly. That's what it felt like today at the beach, for whatever it's worth.
I got it. Or do we have?
What do you got?
Is he on?
No, we don't have Warren, do we?
Brent, I got a quick question for you. Like, what kind of life is John living to be just walking on the beach? A couple of times he's mentioned this.
You're on the beach more than I am.
In the middle of the afternoon, John's just whistling going down the beach on what's today, Wednesday? Brother, you made it, man. I just want to tell you, congratulations on
Anyone here is eligible to walk on the beach.
And just everything that you have accomplished in your life, man.
It's not a ticketed event. It doesn't cost anything.
Amazing.
It's free.
An amazing,
it is
amazing
free
life.
to walk the beach.
But if I go walk the beach, I have to drive there.
Fair. It is free to walk the beach. That is the beauty of San Diego.
I'm surprised you didn't
surf.
put a couple of cones in certain areas, and like, no, you got to go around.
You got to go around. This is my sand right here.
Public area here, and he's like, no, you got to go around.
Tim Haggerty, voice of the Chihuahuas, who are now the Padres. He will join us coming up at 4 p.m. Kevin Acee from St. Louis, our Padres insider, will join us at 5 p.m. here today. We'll switch gears. We'll see if we can connect with Warren Barton later today or tomorrow. On the other side, the latest with LeBron from Brian Windhorst and the latest NBA storylines of the offseason underway. We're 6 days out from the NBA draft, by the way. The NBA draft is 6 days away. Again, Tim Haggerty at 4 p.m., Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. This is Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app.
You can hear Team USA's next match versus Australia right here on San Diego Sports 760 this Friday. Coverage begins at 11 a.m. 2026 World Cup coverage lives on San Diego Sports 760.
All right, Tim Haggard is going to join us in 15 minutes. Voice of the Chihuahuas, longtime voice of San Diego's AAA team. Kevin Acee is our Padres Insider. He's scheduled to join us from St. Louis. Coming up at 5 p.m. Can we switch gears to the NBA, gentlemen? Brent,
Sure.
Alan.
Sure, of
Let's
course we
switch gears for a
can.
moment.
Absolutely.
I want to hear from Brian Windhurst on LeBron's future because he went on a sports station in Cleveland.
ESPN Cleveland, yeah.
ESPN Cleveland to talk about LeBron James's future. This was Brian Windhurst. Let's hear this and react.
I think LeBron's intention is to play, and I think the focus right now is making a deal with the Lakers. And right now he's allowed to negotiate with the Lakers, and I believe they are negotiating. I believe they're going back and forth. Free agency begins in 14 days. And in the next 14 days, I think he's going to try to make a deal with the Lakers. And the amount of the deal may depend on what else the Lakers might be able to do in free agency. And if in 14 days he is at an impasse with the Lakers and there is no deal there, then I think other teams like the Cavs should stand to attention. But the league, I think, generally believes that the two sides are going to come together.
All right, we'll react to that. We have plenty of time, but we do have Warren Barton, Fox Soccer, with us from Mexico City, and we appreciate him taking a few minutes for us during the World Cup, which has been so entertaining in week one. He was with us last week. He's with us again here today on Schaefer and Sliwa. Warren, we appreciate you taking time for us back here in San Diego. Let's start with Team USA. We'll see him again on Friday. Did your expectations change for Team USA based on how well they performed against Paraguay?
Maybe slightly, but I was always pretty confident and what Maurizio Pochettino has done in recent weeks. Maybe I didn't expect the first 45 minutes to be as good as that. I thought they was excellent, very much. They looked like they really enjoyed the occasion, where Paraguay was probably frozen by the occasion. So I'm very high on this team. I think there's a good squad of players, of a balance of experience and young players and talented players. So it was a really, really good 45 minutes performance. And then in the end, it got people the opportunity to get on the field, get some nerves out of the system. But it's a bigger game and a different game against Australia, which is a game that I covered up in Vancouver. Australia will be a difficult team to play against up in Seattle on Friday. But, I mean, they're going in now, the US team, with a lot of confidence. And also they just have to keep their momentum going. It was a really good performance.
Warren, I'm curious, is this one of the more dangerous USA teams that you've seen, or it's like, nah, you can't make that determination off of one game against a country they're supposed to beat? I mean, how do you kind of walk away of what you're expecting from them moving forward? I think for me at least, it feels like they turned some heads. Like you said, they're playing with a lot of confidence. They looked really good. What does that mean for the rest of the tournament, or at least in this group stage?
Yeah, I think with this group of players in particular, majority of them being young but experienced, and having a coach like Maurizio Pochettino, who's been very successful in Europe, is obviously a foreign coach, and that may give it a different dynamic than in the past, maybe with Bruce Arena, Bob Bradley, or even Berhalter, Greg Berhalter, all good coaches in their own right, but they know them from maybe MLS, and it just gives it a different twist. And I think you see that with the front lines today with Thomas Tuchel. There was definitely a different dynamic in the team and a response from the players, and I think that's what we've seen in the last probably 18 months from Maurizio Pochettino, where he was he's got to play for the US. There's a bit of a fallout with Christian Pulisic. That got mended. They've got Tyler Adams come back. So I just feel with this team, there's no excuses, where before it's like, do they respect the coach? Is there a fallout with the coach?
We might have lost Warren there. Warren, we still have you? All right. Yeah. Again, he's traveling and in Mexico City. Brian will see if we can connect with him. If not, we appreciate him taking a few minutes for us here on San Diego Sports 760. All right, I think we're going to try to reconnect with him.
Well, we'll see if we can get him back. Yeah, I look, I go back to that USA game. I do kind of look at them a little bit different than I did coming into the tournament here. So
yeah, I do too. All right, Warren, I think we got you back. We appreciate you taking time. Let's switch gears for a second, talking about Team USA. What about Team Mexico? I think we touched on them last week, the 2-0 shutout in their opener. They'll get South Korea tomorrow night. They're coming off a win as well. What are your expectations for Mexico moving forward, beginning tomorrow night?
Very much like in the first game, just be very efficient. Down to Guadalajara, which a video of South Korea. South Korea are a dangerous team, but I think with Mexico, the possession on the ball, as I say, I think going to be efficient. Keep it to their going in and not going to overset themselves. And I feel I wouldn't say a comfortable result, but an encouraging result as well. I don't see Mexico on stage, really going all score 5, 6, 7 goals. They just want to get out the group, and then they're playing with it more because there's a lot of expectation on this group. The first game, the idea was them to get a clean sheet, win the game, get some goals, Kevin Acee scores, which is great. Now they can maybe go and relax a little bit, but still be as efficient as I think their coach wants them to be.
Warren, we're going to try to reconnect with you next week from your next stop because we're having trouble right now with your connection, but we appreciate you taking a few minutes for us today here in Mexico City. Warren Barton, Fox Soccer. He's been on the call in this tournament. He will be throughout the next couple of weeks as well. We'll try to connect with him maybe when he's back stateside. He's calling games in Canada, the U.S., and Mexico over the next 4 weeks. Today, he's in Mexico City where we're learning the connectivity is not ideal at this exact moment.
I want to call and talk to somebody from Mexico City. I want to figure out what's going on.
You want to talk to someone?
I want to figure out what's going on here. I really wanted to hear his answer about. I think to go back to what we were just saying. I think one of the surprises for me going into this weekend, USA looked so good in their first match. Mexico looked so good in their first match, but you heard him say Australia is going to be. That's different competition. So the competition is going to get a little bit tougher. Let's see how USA kind of reacts to all of a sudden now everybody's looking at them and saying, hey, maybe this is a team that a country that can put their chest out, stick their chest out. And then obviously tomorrow is going to be exciting, South Korea and Mexico.
Did you see Australia, by the way, had circled something that was said in the lead up to this? It was like a commentator that said that the Australia match is a layup for the U.S.
Which commentator?
CBS Galazzo Network's Mike Grella used the word December.
Mike, I know. Do we really need we need you to say it's a layup?
Right. So it's the commentator that's become the bulletin board, which has been now the rallying cry
for Australia.
Of the Aussies. Yes. And I've heard this now multiple times over the course of the last couple of days.
Really? I didn't know
So the rallying cry of Australia ever since the draw that they were in the same group.
Can we
we were called a layup.
Can we it's a pause here for a quick second? Yeah, let's just say hypothetically, Stephen A. Smith said that this team sucks. So the rallying cry has nothing to do with the team. It's Stephen A. Smith that's going to be the one that gets the troops going.
That would be the comp. Yeah, that would be the analogy.
That's a little extreme from Australia.
Hey, Stephen A. said the Lakers are no good. I mean, that's kind of what he does, though. I mean, it's his job to be critical. We'll see if it's a stiffer test or not. I mean, I think based on what we saw.
Does Mike lose his CBS privileges if USA loses to Australia?
I mean, if I'm Mike Grella, I'm praying that the U.S. performs well against Australia tomorrow.
I want to cold call Mike right now.
I want to get Mike
Grella his phone number right now, and I want to just ask Mike. Mike, what are you doing? What is this un-American? Actually, he's probably going to be like, no, this is American.
You're right. It's just not necessary, though. All right, we'll get back to what Brian Windhorst had to say on the Lakers, but Tim Haggerty, voice of the El Paso Chihuahuas, the Padres AAA team, he'll join us coming up on the other side, also at 5 p.m. Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, is on the show. We're here until 6. Stay with us. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Aleve. The Padres beat the Cardinals in Game 3 of their series today in St. Louis, 6-1. They will move on to Texas to start a series with the Rangers tomorrow. We got a couple finals in the World Cup. Portugal and Congo tied at 1 apiece, and England defeated Croatia 4-2. Tonight at 6:30 on San Diego Sports 760, you can hear the match between Colombia and Uzbekistan. At some point, body pain may creep in and become irritating that day, but Aleve is here to keep you moving. One pill gives you up to 12 hours of body pain relief, so don't let pain hold you back. Try Aleve today. Use as directed.
It's Schaefer and Sliwa. Sean Schaefer and San Diego's own Alan Sliwa. Here's Schaefer and Sliwa.
Right, hour 2, Schaefer and Sliwa reacting to a Padres win over the Cardinals, salvaging that series, Alan.
No way we beat hour 1.
No, I think
No
we could
way hour 2 beats hour 1.
I think there's about an 82% chance. Maybe
What does Fangraphs have it at?
50-50. That hour 2 is better than hour 1. Let's catch up with Tim Haggerty, voice of the Chihuahuas. You've heard the Padres over the last couple of weeks referred to as the San Diego Chihuahuas with all the recent call-ups, including one of the spark plugs, Samad Taylor. Tim Haggerty, longtime voice of the Chihuahuas, with us right now on San Diego Sports 760. I'll just start with that, Tim. What's it been like for you? You've watched all these call-ups over the years, but there's so many players from the system impacting San Diego right now. What's it been like from your seat? And thanks for hopping on.
It has been exciting. Thanks for having me. And because it's happening in such rapid succession, you're right. Throughout the year, typically there's about 25 Chihuahuas that will play for El Paso and a major league team, whether that's the Padres. I'm including rehab assignments on that. But to have this burst of them so quickly, talk about Samad Taylor, Will Wagner, Nick Solak, the list goes on, Jace Bowen.
Right.
It has been exciting. And the Padres had that great series in Baltimore, winning that series. I know they didn't score as many runs in St. Louis, but Samad Taylor has been great, as you mentioned.
Tim, how surprised are you of just some of the success? Let's use Samad Taylor as a good example here. When you see these guys down in AAA and then you see them come up, what have you noticed and what has kind of stood out to you? And you could either focus in on Samad Taylor or really any of these players.
Yeah, I'm not surprised with Samad. He's somebody that had been up before briefly with Kansas City, with Seattle. He knew the drill. He wouldn't get tight on the big stage of the major leagues. And we saw the same skills that he's brought to the Padres in El Paso. There was speed, there was power. Pete Zamora called him one of the fastest players in the entire Pacific Coast League. And for a smaller frame, though, he's very strong. He had 7 home runs for the Chihuahuas in 51 games. So I was happy to see him get his first major league home run in Baltimore recently. But he also brought that energy that I think you're seeing. That same type of excitement before the game, after the game. I think that really translated here in El Paso, and he's bringing that to the Padres. Just a really good person, too. Somebody who is just really professional in our line of work, always says yes, very accessible to fans, always smiling. I get the impression he's really a guy that loves the game, and he'll play it for as long as they'll give him a job.
Tim Haggerty, good perspective with us right now. Voice of El Paso, the Padres AAA affiliate, joining us right now on Schaefer and Sliwa. Don't you find, you know it better than I do, but it's so remarkable how the sport of baseball works, where Samad Taylor may not have had an opportunity all year long at the big league level, if not for an unfortunate injury to Ramon Laureano, because it wasn't Taylor that was up initially. When they made the Castellanos move, it was actually Jace Bowen that came up initially. But isn't it's kind of unique, this sport, where it's just an opportunity that then creates the opportunity that Samad Taylor is taking advantage of.
I totally agree with you. I've often thought that it's sort of this under-publicized aspect of baseball and front offices and which players acquire, and that is the minor league free agent. We talk so much about the top prospects. We talk so much about the major league regulars, but every contending team has a handful of players that were minor league free agents that scouts saw in person at AAA games the year before, guys that have been to the majors with other teams like Samad Taylor and like Nick Solak. And the Padres, they had the scout Mike Vennerfield, the former major league pitcher, and he made this point one time, and I always think about it. He said, at the end of the year, when a team makes a playoff spot by a game or two, that player who filled in for 15 games in May, that's a job. That matters. That's the difference between a win or two sometimes. So who the Padres are bringing in, I think it's really big decisions when you get those veterans like Samad here in El Paso.
Tim Haggerty, voice of the Chihuahuas, taking some time to join us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. Tim, I'm curious, is it, I know sometimes we just look at it, it's like, all right, this player is ranked here in the farm system. And yeah, this guy, no question about it, he's going to have success in the major leagues. How, just your experience, how difficult has it been to really kind of know what player, there's intangibles that we can't talk about, there is somebody that's not intimidated by the moment? Just in your experience, just how difficult is it for you to really know whether a player is going to make it in the major leagues and stay in the major leagues, and how much of that is not based just off of numbers?
Yeah, I think when you look back at the old Baseball America prospect guide handbooks, it's impressive because a lot of times they get it right. Like the guys they put on the cover, if you look at it year by year, I recently saw them all together, and it was Joe Mauer, and it was Jeff Francoeur, and it was guys that had long major league careers. John might remember from broadcasting baseball, Delman Young was a huge prospect, massive. One of the biggest since I've been doing this. And while he wasn't a regular all-star, he played a long time in the major leagues. I think that there definitely are some surprises, though. There are guys that, we talk about minor league free agents. There are guys that are minor league free agents that will just find the right organization and stick and play for them 4 or 5 years in the majors. And I think also in this discussion, I think sometimes fans and media people, the standards are too high. Like they'll say, oh, so-and-so was a bust. Well, then you look at their baseball reference page, played like 8 or 10 years in the majors. And just because they weren't an all-star, just because they weren't an MVP, I mean, very few people in history have done that. In the big picture, you're talking about somebody that's, one of the best 2,000 players ever. And yet we call them a bust. So I think we also have to look at it that way. Like if you're contributing in the major leagues, like I hate to say this name, like Padres fans get mad at me when I do this, but when Anthony Rizzo got traded to the Cubs and became a star, understandably, Padres fans were upset about that.
Yep.
But Andrew Kashner was like in your rotation for 5 or 6 years. That's hard to find. I'm not saying the Padres won that deal, but what I'm saying is, if you look at things in the big picture, I think we have to look at it. If you're a contributor for a major league team for a while, that's a successful career.
It's interesting you say that Tim Haggerty is with us right now. Like Jurickson Profar at one point was the #1 prospect in the sport per Baseball America. And some might say, well, he never lived up to that billing. He spent 10 plus years in the major leagues. Now there's some off the field stuff that's tied to him late in his career, but like 10 years of service time in the major leagues. I don't know how many players in the history of the sport have 10 plus years of service time. Here's my next question for you, Tim. How much are you paying attention to the improved play of Ethan Salas this year in AA?
Absolutely. I think that's a good example of how these prospect rankings can fluctuate. He sort of fell off those lists, but is still so young. And I think the biggest thing for him is health. He played just a dozen games last year, and all of a sudden he's back. He's healthy. I think it shows the Padres' decision to maybe give him some rest instead of really forcing winter ball or a long Arizona Fall League stint was the right thing. And I was talking about this with a Chihuahuas player, Nick Schnell, who is another minor league free agent who at one time was a first-round pick by the Tampa Bay Rays. And he's only 26. And while he's been doing this now almost a decade, he feels his best baseball is ahead of him. And when you mentioned Salas, it reminded me of that conversation because he was explaining to me how the first few years of his career, he had injuries. And those are like prime development years. When you talk about a guy who's 19, 20, 21, and they don't play for a whole year, like that's high-level baseball that he's missing out on, that I think Salas is a good example. Maybe a little bit of patience. We recognize that it's going to take a while for him to get going, but still has so much runway ahead of him that still could meet what the expectations were at some point.
Tim Haggerty, the voice of the Chihuahuas, joining us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. Tim, how closely are you following the Padres? Any thoughts on just how obviously it's been a rough go for them over this course of the last 30 days or so? Kind of trying to ride the ship here, I guess you can say, and we'll see where they're sitting. I mean, obviously right in the heart of a wild card spot, but just the baseball hasn't been consistent by any stretch of the imagination. What have you thought maybe watching from afar?
Yeah, I do keep a close eye on it. I've been doing my job for 22 years, and 20 of those years have been with Padres affiliates. So I've always enjoyed keeping up with the Major League Club. And A lot of times our games are at the same time as Padres games. When they're not, I enjoy watching or listening and, of course, following the box score. But, yeah, I think obviously the biggest issue is they're not scoring enough runs. And I feel like there's a track record of a handful of hitters who have hit better in recent years than they are now. So I think that should be some reason for optimism. As you said, though, in the big picture, they're 3 games over 500. They're in a wild card spot. I think if you told Padres fans that on March 1st, they might be mildly disappointed, maybe hoping for a little bit more. But again, the season's not even halfway over, and they're in a playoff spot. So I think if they can score more runs, then you got to feel good about their chances of getting back to a playoff series.
Tim, with all these players that are up right now from AAA, I'm left thinking like what is left that could potentially benefit the Padres in the here and now. But some of the pitching has been pretty good, right? Like Johnny Burrito has been throwing down there. He's had success in a couple of outings. What have you seen from Johnny Burrito, a guy that maybe the Padres count on at some point in the second half of the year?
Yeah, he pitched in El Paso last night, and he's been outstanding so far. 9 total innings in his 2 starts. He's allowed just 2 runs. Somebody that remains on the 40-man roster, so it would be easy to bring up. I agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised if he's back in a San Diego uniform. He was on the 60-day injury list recently, coming back from surgery, but now this is not a rehab assignment anymore. He's been optioned to the Chihuahuas. Some other pitching news tonight, German Marquez pitches for the 4th time with El Paso, and he has yet to allow a run. It's been really fun for me. I remember seeing him as an Albuquerque prospect in the Rocky system a decade ago, and now he shows up a Major League All-Star. He's looked great. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes an impact on the Padres rotation at some point soon. And it's interesting you mentioned with all the changes here in El Paso, it's so hard to predict. It's like half of El Paso's lineup went up to San Diego in 1 week, and yet the Chihuahuas have won 7 out of 9 with a group of players that weren't playing a lot in the past. So, very difficult game to predict.
Yeah, what I like to refer to as baseball. Like the Padres with 5 hits over the first 2 games of this Cardinals series, and 14 hits today, matching their season high. Tim, appreciate you taking time. We know it's busy. We know you got a game tonight at home against Reno coming up, but appreciate you taking a few minutes for us here in San Diego.
Oh.
All right, great
Thanks,
stuff.
man.
Tim Haggerty, voice of the Chihuahuas. You like the name Chihuahuas as a minor league affiliate? Yeah. I do, right? Is that one of the, that's one of the better names.
Yeah, it's a solid name.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, how would you compare Chihuahuas to what is it? There's the Rocket City Trash Pandas, Richmond Flying Squirrels.
Yeah, I'd rather have Chihuahuas.
Toledo Mud Hens.
Still going Chihuahuas.
Durham Bulls.
It's a good one.
Iconic.
Yeah, Durham Bulls. That's a good one.
There's some ridiculous.
That's a tough one to beat right there.
Right? Aren't there's just some. It's just some ridiculous minor league names all the time. I like them. I know I worked in the minor leagues. I'm biased, but there's some absurd team names. I can't think of them all.
That's kind of like the allure there, right? Like
the merchandising.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. At 5 p.m., Kevin Acee with more on the Padres salvaging the series finale against St. Louis. But on the other side, we're getting back to the NBA. What, again, has been said about LeBron James's future from Brian Windhorst. We'll get into that, plus the wrap coming up at 4:30. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, San Diego Sports 760, your home for live coverage of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Get daily match updates from the opening match to the final, July 19th. Hear live play-by-play, the most anticipated games in every USA match. 2026 World Cup coverage lives on San Diego Sports 760.
I want to get back to the Brian Windhorst sound on LeBron in a moment. We need to play it again. I did see something that was published earlier today, of course, at BaltimoreBaseball.com. You know BaltimoreBaseball.com.
Oh, I was on it this morning.
Right. I mean, it's the New York Post.
Do you subscribe?
No, it's now free. Believe it or not. They made BaltimoreBaseball.com free. But there's an interview up at BaltimoreBaseball.com with Manny Machado, who is quoted as saying, "I'll always be an Oriole at heart," which I respect. Came up in Orioles farmhand.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
A young star there. Yeah. By the way, he didn't trade himself. They traded him at the deadline. He was due to become a free agent, as we know. The free agent story played out right here in San Diego. But he says, "I'll always be an Oriole at heart." It's like you always remember your first, right? Like he was a kid in the Orioles organization and starred there as a young player.
Yeah, I got
no issue with that.
I got no issue. Some things sometimes you say, all right.
But you always remember your first?
It's just,
is that going too far?
You just have like points you're trying to make sometimes. There's another way to get there. And
without the like innuendos or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like sports are like
I'm good
romantic.
I'm good with the jokes, but it's like sometimes I sit next to you and I feel like I'm 14. But I'm with you.
You should have worked with my old co-host.
No, I completely know that.
Dude.
But I'm
saying, like the most professional sports talk host in American history compared to what I previously worked with. Is that accurate, Brent?
It was just so it was so quietly just put in there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but it could mean anything. It's
like you remember your first,
I remember
like,
my first
baseball
baseball game.
Right, but I don't think that's what he was.
No, but
I don't think that's
kind of mean it like your first organization. It's like
the first team.
Going to remember like the experience of LeBron in Cleveland is different than his experience in Miami.
Here's what's unique with Machado's.
That's what I'm saying.
Here's what's unique with Machado's career. He still has never been to a World Series, right?
No, he has.
Oh no, that's
no, he lost
with the Dodgers, but I guess more how I look at it. Of course, he has an incredible amount of history with the Padres.
Yep.
Incredible amount of history with the Baltimore Orioles. Correct. I got no issue for him to. That's how it should be. You know, like the beginning of his Major League Baseball career, a good chunk of years.
What are we talking about?
Is with the Baltimore Orioles. I think that, of course, that's special for him.
Yeah, he was awesome as an Oriole. Seriously, he was awesome and he the postseason multiple times.
I'm gonna point one thing out here. Darnay put this out. Darnay Tripp, his tweet.
What did he say?
After this afternoon's game, okay, Tatis 3 hits, 2 RBIs. Merrill 3 hits, 2 RBIs and a home run. Machado a hit, RBI and a base on ball. Xander 2 hits and an RBI. Those
right
as we see our head on the table because this team can't generate any offense. This is it, brother. Like we're talking about the trade deadline. We're talking about what they should do. We're talking about how aggressive AJ Preller is and everything else.
Yep.
They can go bring in Skubal and pick whoever else that you want to bring in. If these guys do not deliver, you don't need all 4 of them too, but in 1 month, 2 of those 4 are really good. In the other month, and there's a stretch where they're both good together. The problem is, and I hate to say this, but you're relying on players right now where my confidence, and I think a lot of people's confidence level, this is a very, very unique tweet because this is not something that we've seen from these 4 players in the same.
Hardly. It's a great point. It's probably happened. It's almost like Haley's Comet. Like that's happening once every 70 something games. It's not, it needs to be happening with more regularity than it has been. Can we hear from Brian Windhorst again? Because we played it and then we had Warren Barton from Fox with us earlier, but let's hear from Brian Windhorst on LeBron's future and react.
I think LeBron's intention is to play, and I think the focus right now is making a deal with the Lakers. And right now he's allowed to negotiate with the Lakers, and I believe they are negotiating. I believe they're going back and forth. Free agency begins in 14 days, and in the next 14 days, I think he's going to try to make a deal with the Lakers. And the amount of the deal may depend on what else the Lakers might be able to do in free agency. And if in 14 days he is at an impasse with the Lakers and there is no deal there, then I think other teams like the Cavs should stand to attention. But the league, I think, generally believes that the two sides are going to come together.
All right. So, and that's kind of what you've been saying, that you felt as if ultimately they would come back together in the end. And that's what Brian Windhorst has said within the last day.
I think the surprise was always going to be, and you and I have joked about it, and I think it would be awesome. It'd be pretty cool if LeBron decided to go play for the Golden State Warriors. But all right, I'm watching. I'll watch those games.
Right.
But I think everybody's just kind of assumed he's going to end up with the Lakers. What he said, too, about it's going to depend on the amount of dollars, and it's also going to depend on what the Lakers' plan is. If they're going to ask LeBron to go from 52 down to 30, okay, how are you going to use that extra money so then we could figure out how to have a better shot in the Western Conference next year? And there may not be a world where that exists, but that's how LeBron's going to use some of his leverage.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
If you were the Lakers, I'm putting you on the spot,
okay,
and you had more financial flexibility because LeBron does take less, whatever the number is, but you gave him a chunk of money they can now use that they didn't have previously, how would you use it?
If LeBron comes back this upcoming season, I think there's two things that have to happen. You got to basically just go all in. Like, right. I think every pick they have, they got 3 of them, use it. I think this kind of notion of they keep kicking the can down the road and they keep saying, well, we're looking for flexibility and this and that. All they've done is basically been, they have not really given themselves a chance to truly compete for a championship. Here's what I do if LeBron gives you an extra X amount of dollars. Either it's a 3-and-D player or it's a center. I think they need a center more than they need anything else. They need a true, legitimate center that they feel like can be there for a handful of years. That's also going to be there with Luka. That's young enough. That's athletic. There's a quote from Luka, which we could read a little bit later, where he's been basically being asked, when is it you're at your best? And the way he describes all of that, it's like, yeah, he's describing the Dallas Mavericks, his championship run with the Dallas Mavericks. So if I'm the Lakers and I'm bringing LeBron back, go use that money and your draft capital to go make a trade to find a significant improvement. It's going to cost you. Like, it's not, it ain't going to be cheap in the open market, but that's what I would do if I'm the Lakers. They need to stop beating around the bush here. Either tell LeBron James we're going to a full rebuild with Luka, or if you're going to bring LeBron James back, use every asset you have to try to win, at least be as competitive as you can with Luka and LeBron.
Good answer. You could apply to be GM. If it's vacant at some point, you could apply.
Could be vacant at some point.
Lakers.com/careers. I would assume is where you would go to apply.
You got to go to the contact page.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's an info.
Right. And click that.
At Lakers.com.
And inquire.
Send an email.
With a resume.
There's a good chance no one will get back to you.
You have a decent chance to get the job, honestly. All right, we'll get to the wrap on the other side. Kevin Acee will join us coming up at 5 p.m. We're here until 6. Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's new Biggie Deals. The Padres salvaged their series against the Cardinals today in Game 3, avoiding the sweep. They won 6-1. They move on to Arlington to start a series with the Rangers next. We had a couple finals in the World Cup. Portugal and Congo tied at 1 apiece, and England defeated Croatia 4-2. And right now, we got no score between Ghana and Panama. Coming up tonight on San Diego Sports 760 at 6:30, you can hear Colombia's match against Uzbekistan. Like I said, pre-match coverage will begin right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 6:30. Choose one of Wendy's new Biggie Deals at $4, $6, and $8. Pick one of the new Biggie Deals you're craving. For a pretty Biggie deal, gotta be Wendy's. U.S. price and participation may vary.
All right, so tomorrow we are in Chula Vista on the air, extended show from 2 to 5:30.
Go.
You can then listen to Mexico's World Cup match beginning at 5:30. Right here on 760. It's going to be a scene in Chula Vista tomorrow. I can't wait to get down there on the air. Thousands of San Diegans.
I'm staying tomorrow. I'm telling you, I'm staying.
You're staying for the match.
I'm staying overnight, and then you're going to pick me up from there, and we're going to go to Monterrey, Mexico.
That is the way to kick off our weekend.
Yeah,
you're watching Mexico in Chula.
Yeah.
The next day we're going to Monterrey, Mexico for a weekend.
I got a question for you here. What's the talk to me here on the drinking situation? What's your?
What do you mean the drinking situation?
Do you drink at all, or
I drink. I mean, I'm not gonna be doing keg stands in Monterey if that's what you're asking me.
No, but let's just Are
you a big drinker?
I'm not a big drinker, but if I'm going to freaking Monterrey, Mexico for a World Cup game, we're going back to San Diego State at Dorchester, the Dorchester apartments there. You know what I mean?
Really? So you're going to be
maybe I am doing a keg stand.
See,
I'm not doing a keg stand, by the way.
Here's the thing. I'm all for having a good time.
I'm more worried about the keg stand is does my shirt come down and now I'm exposed? The whole thing. I'm more worried about that.
Here's the one thing that's in the back of my mind is that the last time I went to Mexico, I had this incredible time. We went to Mexico City and saw the Padres. The issue was my wife got deathly sick.
That's right.
From
you said
the
that.
water.
Mm-hmm.
I actually think it was from beer. Because I think what happened, we were on these canals, on these amazing boats. And it was
everything's got to be bottled and canned, right?
The issue was, I think the bottles that we were drinking out of that they were selling on the canals were repackaged. They put the beer in the bottle.
Oh, geez.
And then put the cap on it.
Ooh.
And then clean the bottle and then put the beer in the bottle and recap it.
It's you guys save some dollars. We're trying to make some profit here.
So the point is, I just want to make sure,
how
we're
are we
drinking
do
the right product.
Throw that into ChatGPT. We'll figure it out.
Make sure not to stay.
Here's the question I'm asking about your alcohol intake.
Right.
All right, we're going out to Monterrey, Mexico. Are you going to be hey, you know what? No, let's have a good time out here, and X amount of drinks are consumed, or are you hey, I'm half a beer in, I'm calling it a night?
I mean, do they have kombucha in Monterey?
I don't know if Mexico is going to be the number one market for the kombucha territory.
John only drinks stuff that has an umbrella in it.
That's the other issue. I order drinks and they're pink and they have fireworks. And
Alan, you remember in Wayne's World when they got that giant fish bowl with the 30 umbrellas?
Sure.
That's John's dream drink.
Can we make an exception because you're in Monterey, freaking Mexico, you're
pound
not having
Guinnesses and stuff?
You keep going to pound drinks. I'm not saying pound into a keg stand.
No, I'm happy to have a good time. But are we staying out till 7 in the morning?
Ain't nobody staying out.
I'm 46.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Okay.
That part you don't have to worry about.
Okay.
But we have first off, the game doesn't start until what time?
I think the game is at 10 p.m. local Saturday night. Because it's at 9 Pacific.
That's incredible.
Right?
Can you imagine
it's
just
11
around that stadium for from 5 o'clock on, people are going.
Right.
This is Mexico.
It's either 10 or 11 local. I don't know what time the match starts locally.
Yeah.
Because I don't even know what time zone we're going to. We're going to one of them.
All right. Well, we'll find out.
Stay tuned.
We'll find out about that.
But you can join us tomorrow in Chula Vista, beginning at 2 p.m. here on San Diego Sports 760. Brent is asking what the time is right now in Monterey. I think it might be 2 hours ahead, maybe one, somewhere in there, 1 or 2 hours ahead. All right. While we do that, why don't we get to this?
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
1 hour ahead.
1 hour.
That's what it is. 1 hour. Okay.
Successful road trip at 5-4.
Padres go 5-4. Is it a successful road trip? Yeah, absolutely. No question about it. I mean, that was the goal coming in.
Yeah.
They're 3-3 through the first 6 games. Can you take 2 or 3 from Texas? And if you can, we'll consider it a successful road trip. That's where we are right now. I consider that a successful road trip.
See, I agree with you, and that's why I don't have a strong reaction that we spent some of the first moments of the show talking about, like, kind of what are we doing? What experiment are we watching play out with the San Diego Padres? Because it's hard for me to be like, I can't believe it. They can't score. They lost the series to the Cardinals. I'm like, well, we said a 5-4 road trip is a good road trip, and they're 3-3.
Texas is 35-38.
Yeah, they're not great.
They're 4-6 in their last 10. What are we? Probably exact same. 5-5 in our last 10. We're on a heater compared to Texas.
That's the thing. So if they win this series, everything's relatively okay.
It's not okay, but you take the 5-4 over a 9-game road trip. Sure.
I agree. Next question.
Is Tatis the only star you trust on the Padres?
Tatis the only star. Okay, so today was interesting because Xander had some production, Manny had some production, Merrill had some great production. Tatis is the only of the 4 big names, which I'm not going to call stars. I refuse to call stars because you have to play like a star, not have a contract of a star in order to be a star. I think Tatis is the one that I got by far the most confidence in right now that he will be the most productive of those 4 players.
I agree.
They need a lot more from that, but
yeah, I mean, Tatis is performing the best. Like, take the star part of the equation out of it. Tatis is performing the best. Now, does he resemble a star? Like, there's not a lot of stars in baseball history that have hit 8 home runs in a year.
We could term this differently. Of the 4 disappointing Padres that are making the most money, which of the 4 disappointing players do you feel least disappointed about?
It's Tatis. I honestly do think he's played very well.
He has played well.
And the numbers back it up, other than he has lacked significant power. He doubled here today over the center fielder's head. He's getting on pace at a good clip, but we need to see more home runs. I need a week where he hits 4 home runs. Am I asking for that much in the entire year? If 1 week where he hits 4 home runs?
You don't have to ask for 1 week for 4 home runs, but how about this? How about by July 17th? It's June 17th today. By July 17th, can you have 8 home runs? Yeah, 8 is asking for too much. You're right.
One of those weeks, unfortunately, not playing because the All-Star break.
Yeah, 8. You're right. It's too much. 6,
7.
No, 6. I'll take 6.
6, 7. Got it.
I got it.
Next question.
Next question.
Who has more pressure in this World Cup, the U.S. or Mexico?
Here's why it's Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico has not just expectations, but this is what they freaking live for, is soccer. So one issue I don't even have an issue with it. It's just the reality of it. If the United States doesn't get out of group play, there's going to be some people that are like, what? How did they not get out of group play? They should have got out of group play. And then about 45 minutes later, people are going to be like, so when does NBA free agency start? Or they're going to be talking about the NFL preseason or something else.
Sure.
That's not real pressure. Real pressure is when these individuals are representing their country, and this is all anybody talks about for 4 years. That's Mexico. I think the pressure's on Mexico, less the United States.
Yeah, no, I would agree because certainly, like, the nation watches when their national team is playing in Mexico. They're not the only country in the world like that. But I don't think it would be completely honest to say that the nation is fully watching when the U.S. is playing with their national team. Now, I think there was a lot of attention on them against Paraguay, and they performed well. That's great.
Yeah.
There'll be more attention on them moving forward. But I don't think it's a reasonable comp.
Especially because they won the way they did. There's a little bit of like, you turn your head twice. Like, wait, what happened? USA won 4-1 and actually looked really, really good in the process.
So that's very good to get more people turning their attention there.
Yes.
But like, I guess the general point is, what percent of Mexican citizens consume Mexican soccer compared to what percent of U.S. citizens consume U.S. soccer? And it's just different, is what I would say. It's got to be different. Next question.
What's the perfect amount of teams for the college football playoff? 12, 16, or 24?
Okay, so this is kind of continues to be the topic here between the NCAA. Love that they went to 12. Was really, really excited. They did a college football playoff. I love it. I think it's phenomenal. Now, does it lose some of its luster because it's, obviously it's not, it's not a 14 playoff. Every regular season game technically is not must win. Of course it loses that. I could settle at 16. I could be good with 16. I feel like 24 is going to be too much. I feel like 12 is fine. But if I could get 16 in there, and I know this, I don't know how much that changes the odds for San Diego State University. That's right. We were talking about this before. Is 24 get us a best opportunity for San Diego State?
Yeah, probably.
Then I think I just got to go 24 for that, even though I think 16 is the right number.
Here's the right format. If I was commissioner, which doesn't even exist, but if they made me commissioner of college football.
This might be also on, if you go to ncaa.com.
Yeah, that's available online.
And then go to contact info.
/jobs.
Info at email them.
And then I could apply to be commissioner. There's not even a job, but I want to request to create it, and here's why. Just allow the conference champions in FBS football to play in the playoff. Do it in basketball. You do it in basically every other sport.
Say it one more time.
Allow the conference champions in the playoff. There's 10 conferences.
Okay.
The 10 champs, whether it's Mountain West, Pac-12, Big 10, SEC, and so on down the line, they're in.
Never happened.
The other 14 spots can go to all SEC teams for all I care, all Big 10 teams for all I care. But how can you tell me a champion of a league at that level is not eligible, so to speak? Why is it that I can win the AFC East and go, but if I win the Pac-12, I can't?
I don't think that's a good comp.
I do. There's been teams that have gone 8-8 in the NFL that have made it over 10-6 teams.
Yeah, here's the problem with that comp. The only reason why that happens in college basketball is because you're letting 377 teams in the tournament.
68.
And now 76.
Correct.
But that's the only reason why that happens. Because you have that many teams. You literally have 4 times the amount or whatever that number is.
30 champions in the event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm advocating for 10. The percentage is actually similar. 30 of the 68 are league champions. More than that. 31, 32, whatever it is. Where I'm saying 10 of 24.
Okay. Percentage-wise, that makes it more interesting.
Is it true that Penn State
is
different? And basketball is a different sport than football.
And that's the problem with the college football front.
Yeah.
There truly are the 6th best team in the SEC. Maybe not. The 4th best team in the SEC will run circles around all these conference champions.
Potentially, yes. I get it. It's true. The AFC East is obviously different than the Mountain West.
How about this? I think the solution is this. Go to 24 teams. Allow 2.
Yeah, 2 group of 6 in, not 1. I'd be in favor of that. I'd be in favor of that.
Then you guys can you can fight all the other ones.
The crazy thing is, I don't think they will. I think they'll keep it at 1, even though they go from 12 teams to 24, and there's 1 spot right now for the group of 6. I think if they go to 24, they'll keep it as 1 spot. And that's the problem. That's the problem for me.
Okay, so let me just real quick. If let's just say they did that, and let's say you had 2 teams, let's say you had 2 11-0 schools.
You might get in that large team.
Okay.
I mean, not might. I think at that point you would.
Yeah.
You would. What do you got, Brett?
I was just going to say the main difference is college basketball wants those teams in the tournament. College football doesn't.
Like
they won't flat out come out and say we don't want them in it because it's going to make them look bad. But everyone knows they don't want them.
Yeah, their actions. You're right about that.
It's not a Cinderella sport. It just hasn't been historically. All right, on the other side, Jeff Passan weighing in on the Padres at the deadline. Would they give up a haul to land a starter like Tariq Skubal? Jeff Passan weighing in next. Kevin Acee at 5 p.m. on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app.
Do you know America's turning 250?
Yeah.
Okay. And San Diego Sports 760 is celebrating with $250,000 in cash. Listen for your chance to win $2,500 so you could take the ultimate American getaway. Visit the states, the cities, landmarks, and national parks that make our country amazing. Win your share of $250,000. Just listen for the keyword, then enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win is coming up after 5 p.m. on San Diego Sports 760.
All right, this is good because Kevin joins us from St. Louis, our Padres Insider Kevin Acee, in like 11 or 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff Passan weighing in on the crux of the matter of the Padres at the deadline that we've been touching on during portions of the last week or two.
I was kind of starting to lean a little bit more towards Passan because he had said some stuff when you were gone about how the problem with the Players Association is they're fighting fans that want to see change. And then I saw another video recently of his where he's like, do you really want to ruin the sport of where it's at? I'm like, here we go again.
Yeah, I don't have a good feel for what he's doing when it comes to like the lockout and the CBA. That's an interesting conversation that we'll certainly be having. But now he writes an article today with Kylie McDaniel at ESPN. Here are the top 100 players that might be available at the trade deadline. And then today on Foul Territory, he spoke about the Padres and with their offensive flaws, is it worth giving up a haul to go rent someone like Tarek Skubal? Take a listen.
I think the Padres deadline is going to be so fascinating this year because when you are in the same league as the Dodgers and the Braves and the Phillies and the Brewers, and like the National League is stacked, boys. It's an impressive group of teams. And if you're AJ Preller and you see the way that your offense is operated this year and you look at the top of your rotation, do you go get Tarek Skubal? I think if Ethan Salas is in a trade, at very least Scott Harrison, Detroit, the president of baseball operations, there has to listen because he might potentially be the best prospect that gets offered. But is it worth renting Tarek Skubal for a team like this, a team that has flaws? Or do you look at it and say, you know what? The truth is, if we have Tarek Skubal, if we have Michael King, if we have this bullpen, we can go out and beat absolutely anybody. And it's a fair and reasonable thing to say, but the Padres have mortgaged their farm system so much in recent years, and they got Mason Miller out of it for Leo DeVries, so that wound up being a win-win. But I just don't know if this is the Padres team that's going to go out and chase.
Fair. I mean, nothing he's saying there that I think that's the question that the conversation that we're having a lot. A lot of this has to do with, is this the team? Has this team shown you, hey, no, if Ethan Salas is what it takes to go compete for a World Series, I'm not trying to give up Ethan Salas right now. I'm not trying to go trade for Tarek Skubal based off of what this team has done. I'm not trying to mortgage the farm system even more. Again, not that I don't want to see the Padres compete. Not that I don't want to see them try to go up and take down the Braves, the Brewers, the Dodgers, some of these, the Phillies in the NL. The problem is they just haven't shown you that this is the team to go do it with.
Yeah, Salas for a rental obviously makes no sense. You know, I mean, at least when you trade away Leo DeVries, you got Mason Miller for 3.5 years of control. I mean, there's a big difference between 3.5 years of Mason Miller control and Tarek Skubal.
What if they want to pay Skubal? And what if Skubal is interested in being here?
But that's a lot of like, will a deal get done between Skubal and the team that's trading for him?
I'm with you.
No.
By the way, just wait for him then to be a free agent. Keep Ethan Salas and then try to go get.
There's a reason, by the way, he's going to wait off his free agency because he wants to pit teams against each other and he wants to drive the dollars up. I don't think all of a sudden you trade for Skubal on the day of the deal. You know, I love the idea of it. I love the idea of them keeping a player of his caliber.
I don't think they're going to go after him.
Either do I. I think that's a really good point. I think they'll go to the next tier. And that's why when you asked me earlier, are they uber aggressive? Are they aggressive or are they not aggressive? Basically, I went for the middle choice. Because I think that's ultimately where they're going to land. I think they'll land at the second tier of player that's going to be available, which is probably a good tier. Maybe it's shooting too high, truthfully, for this team. But I think at the end of the day, when it comes to a player of the caliber of Skubal, other teams will offer more. And I don't even know if the Padres will be offering for a player that's a rental like that. That's not, we've said this, that's not Preller's MO.
And listen, your squad's not 15 games over 500. They're not balling, and you're not saying to yourself, if you get Skubal on this team, you know, Brett and I were talking when you were gone, and part of the conversation was like, you're still going to lose that game with Skubal 2-1. You're still going to, the offense is so bad that even if you brought Skubal here, you could have Michael King wasn't terrible yesterday. If he gave 2 runs, he took the L, right?
Yeah.
Like this is not uncommon for the Padres watching them on a night in, night out basis so far this year. That doesn't mean that the Padres shouldn't go try to make a move. That doesn't mean they shouldn't try to improve their team. It doesn't mean that they shouldn't go try to compete for a wild card spot. I don't want to make it sound like that's what I'm referring to, but I really, really hesitate about trading the farm for a team that just is not telling you that this is the team to go trade it for.
What if it was the other players in the farm, not Ethan Salas? Like if you, and I don't even know, honestly, truly what their system
I know that's kind of
right
like
now.
the name.
But it's like if you avoided moving Salas, but you upgraded your major league roster at the expense of some of your farm system, would that be deemed as a smart decision? Or is it more prudent to just hold, keep your system intact, live to see another day in 2027, still try to make the postseason?
I'm still okay with how do we make the postseason? How could we be strategic with that?
Yep.
How can we identify a player or two that's not going to break the bank? It's not going to demolish the farm system. It's not. I still think trying to make the wild card is the right move for the Padres. How aggressive do you get? Like you and I said a little bit earlier, one of the issues with the NL, there's 6 teams all fighting for that final 1 or 2 spots. So that means there's going to be plenty of markets out there where there's going to be pressure from fan bases of like, look how close you are to a wild card spot. Go for it. It's the perfect place for sellers to be at. It's the perfect place for the Tigers or one of these other teams to be like, hey, this is ideal.
Yeah, give me your best offer.
This is ideal. I got 1 home for sale and I got 8 buyers. Like that's exactly what you want.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting conversation. A lot of it based on Preller's past. He will wait until that final day. Have you lost your last 3 games? Have you won your last 3 games? Are you 7 over or are you 1 over? There's going to be a difference, and we'll see how it plays out over the next 6 weeks. Kevin Acee with more of the Padres winning today in St. Louis. They're heading for Texas and off tomorrow. His thoughts on the state of this team 6 weeks out from the trade deadline. Kevin Acee, our Padres Insider, joins us live next to kick off Hour 3 of Schaefer and Sliwa on San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres defeated the Cardinals 6-1 today in St. Louis. The team now moves on to Arlington to start a series with the Rangers. In World Cup scores, we had a couple finals from earlier today. Portugal and Congo tied at 1 apiece. England defeated Croatia 4-2. And right now at halftime, Ghana and Panama are tied at 0. Tonight on San Diego Sports 760, you can hear Colombia's match against Uzbekistan. Pre-match coverage will begin right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 6:30. A failed struck can turn any drive into a rough ride. When it's time for repairs, Rock Auto makes finding every part easy. Shop brand names at lower prices and have parts shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
Well, as we all expected, the Padres matched a season high with 14 hits. They beat the Cardinals today 6-1. Griffin
I called it. I actually called it. I
said that's exactly how it would
I
play
feel
out.
14 hits today.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. He's in St. Louis. He's with us right now on San Diego Sports 760. What struck out most to you today, Kevin? Is it the Big Four producing? Is it all the base runners as often as they had here today? Like what stuck out to you, so to speak, here today after watching the first two games as well?
Well, yeah, I mean, the contrast, which, I mean, in some ways, you guys have been watching baseball long enough, was fairly predictable. But like the contrast between reaching base in 4 of 18 innings over the previous 2 days and reaching base in 8 of 9 innings today. I mean, you know, like that was unreal. Like that doesn't happen very often. What happened the last 2 games where 7 total base runners. I mean, I can quantify it for you. It's happened 8 times in 58 years of Padres baseball. To have that few base runners in consecutive games. So like it was just awful. And so, you know, like that's the contrast. But yeah, man, the Big Four, sure, like Merrill, Tatis smoking the ball. Machado has a decent day. Samad Taylor in the 2 spot with the kind of at bats that got him in the 2 spot. So, you know, like he says, he's going to ride this for as long as it goes. And so I think there was just a lot of good. But also, and you didn't ask this, but maybe you would, we all get caught. And I'm not saying today changed everything and, oh my gosh, look at this offense. But it's asinine to go game by game in baseball. It just is. Right. It just is. It's asinine to go week by week in baseball. I'm sorry. Now, I realize that's kind of like our job, and then that's kind of like the definition of a fan, and good for them and good for us. But like to get 2 down and up over something like over a short period it's just, you know, it's just silly. It's most often we are proved to like be silly based, you know, when we get 2 up or 2 down in baseball.
Kevin, is it, you know, kind of taking that, fair to say, right? The 2 up, 2 down, you need a larger sample size. And if they go through 2 weeks of playing some good baseball or a month of playing some bad baseball, that's probably a better way of feeling how the squad is doing. When they are hitting like they did today versus when they're struggling like they've done in many other days, is there anybody that kind of like identifies, hey, this is why they performed so well today, or this is why they have been struggling? Is there anything there?
It's a really good question, man. Like, I mean, today they took what was given them. Like Jackson's in a good place, and when he's in a good place, he can hit almost any pitch except, I guess, the ones Dustin May throws. But like, it's a really good question, and it's one that they've been trying to work on. It's one that frustrates me because I would love to have an answer, but like if they had an answer, they wouldn't keep doing it. The same thing applies to almost every game that they struggle. That they shouldn't. Now, look, Dustin May, in some ways, the kid, Andre Payante, had been pitching better than Dustin May. Dustin May pitched better than him against the Padres, but they both pitched really well. And then the guy today, he's just a guy. That was like he's had his 2 best starts of the season against the Padres. So like that's, they're getting owned by good pitchers, and, you know, if we were to say that they'll be a playoff team, that should be troubling. Why don't we focus just on, right now, and allow them to maybe get fixed or something, because looking ahead to the playoffs, I think, is a little premature. But yeah, they're just not a great offense, but they're not like as bad as they've been, if that makes sense.
Kevin Acee is our Padres insider. I want to say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I saw a quote yesterday from Craig Stammen where he said it gets to the point where it's a little frustrating, and we need to do something about it. Is he just saying the team's performance? I mean, doing something about it is playing better? Was that the general point that Craig Stammen was making yesterday?
Yes, that's it. And then maybe moving Samad Taylor up to the number 2 spot. Obviously, he has not been afraid to shuffle. But mainly, guys need to hit. I mean, Craig and Steven Souza Jr. have been pretty upfront about, like, they're taking responsibility and busting their butts to try to help and whatever it is, sticking with a certain message, changing certain messages, whatever it is, they're doing their part. But they're also like, the hitters are the hitters. Like, Jackson Merrill, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Xander Bogaerts, like, they're being paid a certain amount of money. They're not saying this, I am, but it's like implied by everyone. Like, that's the team. Like, hit, guys. And so, like, to be honest, like, it's actually been refreshing and even a little surprising how upfront about that Craig and Steven Souza Jr. have been. Like, look, we're busting our butt. We're trying to figure out if there's something different we can do to help them. But the fact is, these guys have to hit better.
Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, joining us here on the Schaefer and Sliwa show. Kevin, seeing what Tatis has done, I know the power not there, obviously just 2 home runs, but just seeing how effective he's been. What is this stretch been? How has maybe his mood looked inside the clubhouse? And just give us maybe a little bit more of an inside perspective watching Tatis closely.
Yeah, he's been pretty even for the most part during this time. I mean, I wouldn't know what to attribute that to other than, like, during the most of his struggles, I was saying, guys hasn't been pouting too much. We all know, everyone saw it. There became a point where he was, but, like, he's been pretty even all year. And I wouldn't say he's like at all, like, giddy about what's happening here. He would love to have more power. They're still trying to find it, but also I think we've talked about, like, they're not going to tinker too much, because he tinkered an awful lot at the beginning of the year. And, like, that was the 230 batting average, whatever it was, 290 on base with, no slug. Whereas now it's, 350 with 400 on base and a sliver of slug. They'll take that while he continues to, like, crush the ball. It's just amazing how hard he's hitting it. He's hitting it as hard as anyone. I don't think Jordan Walker had that many hard hits this weekend. So if we're going over the last 2 weeks, there's just no one who can touch the amount of balls Tatis has put in play at 105, 110 miles an hour recently.
Yeah, it's amazing. Just look at some of these numbers. Other than the home run column, Fernando Tatis Jr. has done everything. And I get it. Baseball isn't solely predicated on home runs, but it is a column people pay attention to. Kevin Acee is our Padres insider is with us right now. We've asked you about this, but I'll pose it this way. If we get to the point in the season where the deadline is approaching and the most realistic path for the Padres to the postseason is the 6th seed, which is very possible right now, or maybe they'll be on the outside looking in, or maybe things look better than that. But let's just go down the path that they're a similar team in 6 weeks, and they're 3 or 4 games over 500, and they're a few games behind the first and second wild card. Does that impact what AJ Preller's level of aggressiveness will be at that point?
It's like you want to take it where, like, if they were battling for first place, and because that would mean obviously they're playing a lot better, right? And they're feeling like, man, this is a World Series team.
Yeah, like a home playoff series.
It does.
Yeah,
I think it does. However, so I think the answer is yes, because I know how AJ Preller assesses a team, but I also know that he thinks he could turn a team that's a 6th seed into a team that can make a run in the postseason. And he believes that he and his guys can assess that team and then assess their minor league system and find players to turn them into a team that they believe can make a run at a championship. And I do believe that the Padres believe that they kind of, like, owe that to the fans. Like, you can't be like, again, what was the news that came out yesterday? Like, you can't be like selling, 3 million tickets in a year and then like punt. And I'm not saying that's what you were saying, but like, you got to at least give the impression you are absolutely all in at all times, basically, because it's just silly that the Padres are, along with the Phillies, Yankees, and Dodgers, the only team now on what will be a 4-year run of drawing 3 million. I mean, that's amazing and a testament to the fans, certainly to what the team has done. But like, people are showing up, and they're showing up for high ticket prices. So like, the Padres got to be. I mean, as far from my point of view, and I do believe they believe this, but like, I'm saying it, like, they got to at least give the impression they're all in.
Yeah, it's interesting, Kevin. Yeah, it's unfortunately for Preller, if some of the players that he's obviously paying an incredible amount of money to, nobody's asking them to be all. I mean, of course, we'd like them to be all-stars, but just some type of consistent production. Who knows? Maybe the Padres would be in a much better position. I'll ask you this, this is kind of a similar. From a standings perspective, how do you look at this? So right now, the Padres would be the final wild card spot. Between the Padres, Nationals, Cubs, Diamondbacks, Pirates, and the Miami Marlins, there's 2-game separation. How when we go back to the what do they do deadline, this, that, it also just feels like there's going to be, if, again, these markets decide, hey, let's just try to get into the wild card and anything can happen from there, be pretty expensive to also improve your roster.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you start going, like, who are the rentals? What do because the Padres haven't been huge on that. I mean, in terms of they've gotten some, but not like, they've been big on the guys like from Juan Soto to Mason Miller. It's been guys that they can have for what, AJ Preller will say, like 3 pennant races or whatever it is, right? And then you trade them before that. But yeah, that is super, super interesting. Yeah. What are you going to give up? Like some of and I'm not saying any of these are legit, but like some of the things that I see out there, like Padres are not giving up Ethan Salas for a rental. I don't care who the rental is.
Sure. Right.
They're just not. And so, but they believe that they have guys that could get them rentals. And now a rental is also going to require a financial commitment, because the rental is probably a guy who, is making a decent amount of money. Yeah. So yeah, it's fascinating. And I'm just telling you, because of that separation, and I forget how many teams you listed, but because of all these teams that are in it, and then take the American League too, which is anyone on it in the American League? With like, are there teams leading divisions with like 1 game over 500, or at least leading the West? Yeah. Like, there's just too many potential buyers at this point for there to have been a market that has shaped up. So those are great questions that I don't have any answers for, because I truly believe, based on what I'm told, the teams don't have answers for it right now.
My final question down that path is just like, are the Padres operating under the direction of Jose Feliciano as their owner, or is that something that can't occur until he's actually anointed as the chairperson along with his wife?
It can't occur until then, but do you think it's not like
behind the scenes? Right.
Like you're having conversations as they try to finalize their ownership group and they're trying to figure things out. I mean, I'm not saying that's happening. I'm not in those meetings, but like, yeah, you're trying to plan going forward. And this thing now is probably looking at about a mid-July, the owners get on the phone and the other 29 owners, and they vote. And then you're talking about having a week and a half, 2 weeks before the trade deadline. So like, yeah, I mean, some of the same people that are going to be there when Feliciano and Jones take over are still there right now. So yeah, I don't think there's going to be a lack of communication on that.
All right. Great insight as always. We'll do it again from Arlington, Texas on Friday. Padres and Rangers open a series, and I will connect with you tonight. Padres Collective. You too.
Oh my gosh, man, we're doing it. Guess what? This trip is so
you
long.
Guys are
How many times are we talking?
How many times have I been on this show, just on this trip?
How do you guys have more stuff to talk about?
There's a lot to talk about.
There's
The
a lot.
Padres. We got to
Yeah,
talk about the
you're right.
Padres.
Matt Devine gets going off. That's what we do.
There
We
you
just
go.
wind him up and let him go.
That's right. An hour of Matt Devine tonight at 8:15. Kevin, appreciate you. We'll catch up
All right,
again
guys.
later.
Thank you, man.
I'll see you.
He said something in there we need to react to, and we will on the other side here on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
Our iHeartRadio Music Festival is back. So live performances by the Goo Goo Dolls, Kenny Chesney, Lainey Wilson, Snoop Dogg, Weezer, and more. September 18th and 19th at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. 2 nights, 1 stage. Now's your chance to buy tickets at AXS.com. AXS.com. Get them now before they sell out.
All right, he just said something clear as day that Jeff Passan might have been going down the path of like, would you give up Ethan Salas for a rental, even if it was Tarek Skubal? And Kevin laughed at that. Scoffed at that idea.
Yeah.
As, by the way, have we, if you have followed AJ Preller's career.
And he said the front office.
That hasn't been his track record. Did he trade Leo DeVries? Yes. But again, Mason Miller, he got for 3.5 years. So I do think that Kevin makes a really good point. And anytime you hear Ethan Salas' name from this point until the trade deadline, it's not going to be, it shouldn't be surrounding a rental. Like if Ethan Salas were to go, A, that surprises me. That surprises me right now. But B, it would really surprise me, almost shock me if it was for a player that was only under control for 2 months.
That's why I kind of gone through this procedure. And listen, if hypothetically, let's say the Padres were real deal this year, and it was like, hey, you got a chance, you got to match as best as you can with some of these other rotations out there, and Skubal could be the difference. Well, okay, we can have the conversation about it. But come on now, like, trying to trade your future for a team that has not told you trade your future.
Right.
And then also the layering everything else that we're talking about. You're right. The Skubal conversation, the more that I think about it, it's like kind of a dumb conversation to have.
Dumb. And what I hate about it, and this might go down like the path that we've touched on during the show, what I hate about it is he's going to end up with the Dodgers. So just be prepared right now. I'm telling you right now, Tarek Skubal has an excellent chance to end up in LA. I am telling you right now, be prepared for that moment. July 31st, August 1st, August 2nd. Wait for the tweet. I'm telling you right now, be prepared for it because that's what you should expect. Player that's got too much remaining on his deal for a team that's truly contending and trying to win a championship. It's a team more like LA that's going to be in position to land that player than San Diego.
So why do you think why do you think that with the other competition, because the Brewers, why do you think it's LA? Do you think the Dodgers would trade for him and then, hey, this is our guy for the future, we're signing him as well?
That's the number one reason.
So I was going to say, so I'm
that's the number one
what
reason.
It comes down to is let us just get him in here, and then literally finances and money doesn't matter.
Be damned. I think their theory being, we'll give up the assets because we're going to turn it into control.
That's it.
Where Milwaukee giving up assets, do we have control of this player?
No, you don't.
Really, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And therein lies the difference. Now, there might be 1 or 2 other teams like that.
Sure.
Like Yankees
can make a case for that.
There's 1 or 2 other teams. So I'm not saying
but the difference with the Dodgers is they do have one of the best farm systems on top of, obviously the finances that they have.
Do you think the narrative with the CBA, the collective bargaining, has anything to do with how this season shakes out? Like if Milwaukee wins a World Series, is that one
that's not what I mean.
Okay.
What I mean is that I could see a team like the Dodgers being even more aggressive.
Right, heading into it.
Because they know this could be the last year that it's structured this way.
Yep, I agree.
And I think that they've also approached that in a similar way these last couple of years. Like they've kind of knocked on the door, but they've done things since they got Shohei that they didn't do typically in the past.
I agree.
So I think at this point, and what do they got to lose? There's nothing to lose.
Right.
Like at this stage, they got a chance to three-peat or not. So why not just throw everything into the center? Because listen, whether you agree with this or not, I don't think baseball is going to be structured the same. I don't.
Oh, it won't be the same. The question is how different
I don't think it's going to be this lopsided. I really don't. I do think that there's enough chatter, noise, fan frustration that I think that you're not going to get the same. I think what we've seen here over these handful of years, I think it's going to be different.
But you don't think, to put a bow on it, you don't think Tampa Bay winning a World Series or Milwaukee winning a World Series has anything to do with the way the offseason plays out with the
Not at all. Not at all. The problem is I think people look at this way too much. We've had this conversation before.
Who wins the World Series?
You cannot look at the structure and say, well, just who ended up winning it all. You can't.
Right. Even though, of course, the last 2 have been the biggest spender in baseball in LA.
But it's not, again, we go back to it. The deferrals are a problem. The issue is, we say, well, the Padres choked in game 5 against the Dodgers. Let's just use game 5 as the example. Sure. They choked in 2024. Who pitched that game 5?
For the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Yoshinobu Yamamoto?
Yamamoto. Yeah. Yamamoto came that year for $325 million to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
If you did have some type of different structure, let's just say the Dodgers walked into that year without Yamamoto. Are they the same team?
No, but I don't like excusing away the way the Padres performed in that game.
All I'm trying to say is that structurally, again, we go back to it. We're going back to, did they win it or did they lose it? There's a lot more layers to than just, did this team win it or did they lose it? That's the only point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean, even real quick.
And I will make excuses.
I like
excuses.
Yamamoto in that series had a 5.7 ERA.
I'm an excuses guy.
Like he got shelled in one of those games, did he not?
I think in the first game he pitched.
He gave up 5 runs, I think. So in that series, he pitched 8 innings, allowed 5 earned runs. It's like, and by the way, in his regular season in 2024, if we recall, A, he was hurt the whole year, and B, he wasn't effective to start the year in 2024.
But he was on. He reached a point where in the postseason he was
completely. All right. Well, again,
that last year he pitched twice in like 7 hours.
Correct. That's exactly right. How
the hell do you do that?
All right, let's touch more on the World Cup action that we saw on full display yesterday and is playing out once again here today as well. Again, we're going to be in Chula Vista tomorrow. You can join us. We're broadcasting live from Chula Vista from 2 to 5:30 tomorrow, and then you can listen to that Mexico match beginning with pre-match coverage at 5:30. We're here until 6 p.m. here on Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760. We're live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by rockauto.com. The Padres beat the Cardinals today in St. Louis to avoid the sweep 6-1. They move on to Arlington, Texas to start a series with the Rangers next. We got a couple World Cup finals today. Portugal and Congo tied at 1 apiece. England defeated Croatia 4-2, and we have no score right now between Ghana and Panama. And coming up right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 6:30, you can hear the match between Colombia and Uzbekistan. Pre-match coverage, like I said, will begin right here at 6:30. Grinding and squealing are signs it's time for new brakes. Skip the hassle of searching for the right parts and shop rockauto.com. Find trusted branding parts at lower prices and have them shipped directly to your door. All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
San Diego Sports 760, Schaefer and Sliwa here until 6 p.m. By the way, a couple of major sporting events coming up in the next 24, 48 hours. Hear me out. U.S. Open, all right, is this week. Shinnecock Hills, right, in New York State.
Okay.
Do I have that right? I think I have that right. And then we've got the NASCAR race this weekend.
I know.
Father's Day weekend in San Diego and Coronado that's going to be playing out for a first time.
We will not be here for that.
No, we're going to be on the road. We're going to Monterey.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to come up with an itinerary. Thanks to ChatGPT.
How was that last couple of minutes?
It's pretty fascinating where we are right now in terms of like.
This is nothing.
No, I know.
Can you imagine 10 years from now?
I guess, are we at all concerned about?
Of course.
We're concerned, right?
Yeah. We're talking about ChatGPT and how much smarter they are than us.
Like it used to be like, I'll give you this example. My father spent his entire career in the, what's it called when you used to do like a travel agent, like a travel agency business. You go to the travel agent, there's like pre-internet stuff. They book your hotels, they find you your rental cars.
Yep.
They come up with your itinerary.
This is a good transition here.
And you pay money for it. You probably pay good money, a premium to work with the travel agency. Now you go to ChatGPT, say, give me an itinerary. 5 seconds later, there it is. I mean, it's kind of it's not kind of remarkable. It's remarkable. For me, at least.
So you were typing into ChatGPT. I'm using it more and more, but you were typing some stuff in. You're like, hey, going to Monterey. What do you think?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, pause right there. I did mine, obviously the feature where you can talk to it. During the break, you and I were having a straight up conversation. You're like, excuse me, can I just say one more thing? Like that was our ChatGPT conversation. This thing is putting together a PDF for us. You were like, well, I want to know what the locals do as well.
I did say that.
So it's a pretty funny process.
What are you most looking forward to? Because we're going to Monterey, Mexico for the weekend.
Yeah.
Literally, we're going Friday. And we're going to see a World Cup match Saturday night, which I'm looking forward to. I know you are as well. But I'm kind of looking forward to everything else that surrounds it. Like I want to get the ambiance and the experience of a city I've never been in.
No, I'm okay. So what kind of traveler? There's a couple kind of travelers. Some travelers like the, I just want to sit and I want to do nothing. I want to sit on a beach, my feet in the sand, margaritas and this, and that's all they want to do.
No, it's not me.
It's not me either.
I like to explore.
Let's freaking go.
Let's go. I want to be on my feet. I want to immerse myself.
Go.
Like I want
to eat at some spots. I want to see some different places. I want to be a mover and a shaker. And I want by the time I get back to the hotel or Airbnb, I'm wiped out.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I like that. That's it. That's how I'm the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Now you pressured me earlier to be like, yo, are you going to be like drinking a lot?
Dude, you're making it sound like I'm going to give you we don't know each other that great.
But we do know each other well enough.
Yeah, but we know each other. We don't know each other in
like
certain environments.
Correct.
So what I'm thinking is like I say, hey, John, let's grab a beer. And you're like, nah, I'm good. That's my current
library.
That's my current interpretation of you. This is my view of you. When I'm usually that guy. You're making me look like this, like
the wild child,
raging party guy. When if I have friends here, they're like, "Yeah, this guy's a beer and a half, and he's done."
Right. Well, we might work well with each other because I think we're both probably a beer and a half, and we're done.
But where we're going and this environment, I'm taking them back this trip. It's going to be a fun trip.
It's going to be a very fun trip.
Yeah.
And the reason I think both of us are also looking forward to it is we've been watching this tournament play out. Are either of us diehard soccer fans? I can't speak for you. I won't paint myself with the brush of being a diehard soccer fan. I don't know the intricacies of the sport. I just don't. I couldn't tell you the complexities. I couldn't do pre and post for San Diego FC.
No.
It's just not my expertise or knowledge base like others.
But I'm loving
I
it.
am. Yes. The
I'm
thing is,
freaking loving it.
I've always liked the World Cup.
Yeah,
even when I was a kid.
That's an easy one. I'm with you.
You turn it on. It's a 3, 4, 5 week experience, and everyone is paying attention. And that's where I am with the World Cup. And I think the first week of this thing has been absolutely sensational.
Does it have anything to do? Because it doesn't for me. It does. The World Cup to me has nothing to do with whether the United States is having success or not.
No,
it has nothing to do
I'm
with
not
me.
sitting here like if we don't win, I don't like the World Cup.
I actually make fun of some of my friends who are like, I can't believe this year. I'm like, really? Yeah.
I just like the
Are
experience.
you stunned that the United States didn't get very far? Like every time I see my friends who get upset about something, I'm like, in an hour, your ass is going to be on Instagram. Shut up.
Yeah, I'm not going to have a different opinion on this tournament if the U.S. loses in like the round of 32 as opposed to the round of 16. Like I still enjoy the World Cup here, coming to North America. Has ChatGPT spit us out some 10-page itinerary? Is that what it is?
Bro, this
Monterey weekend game trip.
But look at that. This is like, this is a straight presentation. It says trip philosophy, at a glance agenda.
Listen, if anyone's
It's
going down there this
color-coded.
weekend, we can send this to anyone else that's going down this weekend.
That's awesome.
But you, like this tournament to this point has been a fun watch, has it not? Even if you're not like a diehard soccer fan, which I'm not.
It's also because we got mega superstars also delivering.
Right.
Like yesterday, watching Messi have 3 goals. Watching Mbappe with 2 goals. Who's the dude from Norway?
Star Haaland had multiple goals.
I mean, you got these absolute studs. So I'm just like, I love all of this. I think the group play is great. I'm glad that you got these games on all day the way we do. But can you imagine in a couple of weeks, it's going to be France versus, you pick the other country. You're going to have some powerful matchups. So.
By the way, awful announcing now, picking up on what we touched on earlier. Australian media turns Mike Grella's layup comment into World Cup storyline ahead of the Team USA, Team Australia match coming up on Friday at noon. That's at noon
Give them
Pacific.
the background of what that is.
Well, this commentator for Galazzo, the soccer channel, said back in December, when we saw the draw that Australia was in the same group as the U.S., the USA commentator said that the Australia match was a layup, a quote-unquote layup for Team USA. Well, that has not sat well, apparently, with the brass and the players for Team Australia. Now, I'm kind of with you. It's like, it's a commentator or a pundit. It wasn't Christian Pulisic.
I'm mad at both. I'm mad at 2 people. I'm mad at 2 groups.
Who, the guy that said it?
I'm mad at Mike, who said it.
Right, Mike Grella.
And then I'm mad at Australia for saying this is going to be our rallying call.
It wasn't a player. It wasn't the star striker for Team
First of all,
USA.
Mike, you don't speak for this country.
It's amazing that they picked
Let's have
up
a
on
little
this.
bit of respect for. Yeah, that's also another thing. Why is everyone picking up on what he said? You're right. It's not.
That would be like if Team Japan and the WBC, their rallying cry was when I called out Shohei Ohtani like 4 years ago and said he sucked. And they're like, American commentator on YouTube said Shohei Ohtani is overrated. Therefore, we're going to win the WBC. That's ridiculous.
Really
Isn't that ridiculous to consider?
And you tried to go to Petco, and at that time, ask a question to Hugh Darvish, and they're like, absolutely not this guy.
But it's like everyone's got an opinion. That's basically the point of the media at this point. So does that impact Team USA's match on Friday against Australia? I'll say no.
How about I'm already on Yelp looking at this El Gran Pastor, which was recommended by our PDF.
Now remember, I don't eat meat.
I know.
Okay, so we got
I'll add
consider that.
No, and all we have to do is just say, hey, we also need veggie-friendly places because my guy over here is not a meat eater.
Is it going to be the number
it's
one?
All good.
Like, is it the number 1 vegan city in the world? Probably not.
Well, I'm still going to go to the.
You can go to all the places. I'll just sit outside. Just like tie me to the like I'm a dog.
We're gonna find. We'll find you some places too.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Again, we're here until 6 p.m. But do we still have Brent? I completely buried the giveaway lead. Can we do it on the phone on the other side or not? No, we can do. Or would you want to give it away or not? Or we could do 2 tomorrow. All right. Well, we'll save it for tomorrow because I completely missed it. We'll save it for tomorrow. We're getting you ready for the Padres and the Rangers coming up this weekend, plus some of these NBA storylines playing out with the offseason underway. Here until 6 p.m. Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, final time. Schaefer and Sliwa.
Final time.
Final time today. Join us from Chula Vista tomorrow. We're broadcasting live.
I can't wait for tomorrow, man.
Team Mexico plays at 6. You can listen to that match with pre-match coverage at 5:30. We've got a special time for Schaefer and Sliwa. We're on the air from 2 to 5:30 tomorrow. So 3.5 hours for you, beginning at 2 p.m. right here on San Diego Sports 760. Can I share like a sports story that's like a quasi sports story, but it's kind of a sports story?
Sure.
You know me, I'm into trading cards and collectibles right now. I'm going through that midlife crisis and I'm really enjoying it. So Topps announced today a partnership with Minions, like the yellow people, characters, the cartoon characters. And they're going to have Minions specialty cards in both a baseball series and an NBA series. They're going to have like Aaron Judge as a Minion, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander as a Minion. They have the sleep, the Steph Curry, what's this called? Like go to sleep, good night.
Yeah.
pose?
Oh, yeah.
They have a Minion doing that for Steph Curry.
Smart, bro.
So do you think is that smart, or is that just like, what are we doing?
No, I think it's smart, simply because it's kind of like it will cater to somebody.
Right.
It will cater to.
I think it combines like adults with their children.
Yeah, there you go.
Their kid, like a 10-year-old is aware of the Minions, and then like the 45-year-old dad is like a card collector. So
absolutely.
Kind of combining both. So anyway, my big thing over the last like 12 hours, like I need to get a Minion card for my son. That's all I can think about is getting a Minion card for my son. All right. So tomorrow in Chula Vista, we'll be down there for 3.5 hours. I thought it went, I loved what we had last week when we were in Little Italy doing the Team USA broadcast. And then of course the US played the way they played. So swing by is the point tomorrow. Say hi. We'll be down there. Alan's going to stick around for the match. I wish I could.
Oh, I'm staying. Yeah.
You're going to stick around for the entire match.
You kind of have to tomorrow. I mean,
what do you mean you have to? I'm not.
No, that environment is just good. Like I want to be there for that. The USA stuff that we were there for Little Italy, that was awesome. That was cool. Mexico and Chula Vista. Yeah, that's next level.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's going to be next level.
I agree.
Yeah, come out. Listen, whether you want to come say hi to us or not, I mean, it's great for you to come say hi to us. But either way, that event's going to be badass.
All right. So we started, remember when we started the show like forever ago and we were like, what are we doing with this song and dance around the Padres? They're 3 games over 500. At one point, they were 11 over. They lost this series, but they won today. So we're not going to sit here and pretend like today was like this massive turning point in the history of the franchise, but they did have 14 hits today, to their credit. But we also said if they go 5-4 in this road trip, it is acceptable, and it's still in front of them. So honestly, I don't have a better feel for where we started 3 hours ago and like where we are right now, 3 hours later. Like a feel for like where the Padres are in the midst of this 2026 season. I think
they have a good. If you ask me right now, how would I describe the Padres this season? Wildly inconsistent, disappointing, still in the mix, not really a true contender. How do they figure out? Is there a path for them to change that narrative and change that script? I think that's a fair question to ask. I don't have an answer to. I'm not as optimistic of what I'm watching right now that it's going to change. Can it? Of course it can. But I think we got a pretty good sample size of who this team is. I think we know that, some of their starting pitchers are starting to kind of face a little bit of their own challenges, not their fault. I think there's a number of hitters that are wildly disappointing that you can't depend on a night in, night out basis. And I think they got this road trip coming up that's going to also kind of a make it or break it. Not road trip.
Stretch with the Dodgers and the Braves. And
that's kind of, doesn't that make it or break? I mean, look who you have here. Just let me give it's Atlanta, it's the Dodgers, it's the Cubs. It's the Dodgers. It's Arizona. It's
Toronto at home, maybe.
I think Toronto and then maybe KC. I might be missing a team there, but that's a stretch. That's a real stretch right there.
When we say make or break, I mean, yeah, maybe it is. Maybe it is, dude. I mean, maybe it honestly is make or break, because by the end of all that, you're pretty close to the trade deadline. And if you don't play well against the Dodgers and the Braves, that's 14 of those games, by the way, between now and the deadline.
That's fair.
You're right. I mean, if you went 4-10 in those 14 games against LA and Atlanta, like that has to change the line of thinking for your front office. Like you can't go 4-10 against Atlanta and LA and be like, we're a true contender. Trust me, Let's play the long game. Wait it out. We can get it done. But if you get through those 14 games, you go 7-7, you go 8-6,
Probably go 7-7.
All of a sudden you start believing a little bit.
You go. Listen, you go 7-7, then there's a little bit of this like, all right, you played some games against the elite. Look, I'll just use the Cardinals as an example. St. Louis, I don't think is going to win a World Series. You just did lose 2 or 3 against them, so that's why I want to see this. Let me see against all these other squads out there that are playoff caliber, playoff worthy.
Yeah, and here's the thing, by the way.
Okay.
Against the teams that are playoff caliber, playoff worthy, they haven't been good. You know, I mean, we touched on that a little bit earlier in the year. Like I'm looking right now. Padres against the Cubs, 1-2. Padres against
0-6 against the Phillies.
0-6. Against the Cardinals, 2-4.
1-2 against the Dodgers.
1-2. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So against the Mets, you're 1-2. Against Milwaukee, you're 1-2. Again, these are whatever. They're one series in one random moment.
But I think if you start adding up, okay, how are they doing against playoff caliber teams? That's not a stat you're putting your chest out to.
Right.
Sticking your chest out
they're
to.
under 500 against playoff caliber teams this year. So can that change in the second half? Potentially. Can they change the tenor of the team at the deadline? I mean, I thought for a moment they kind of changed the tenor of the team with Samad Taylor, but again, nobody's expecting that to last. So can you change it at the deadline and get true change with your, who knows? There's a lot of time, obviously, between now and then.
I needed you yesterday and you didn't come through.
That's because what? Because you installed your 75-inch TV alone. How did you do it? Would you roll it up or something? Like, how did you even
Yeah, it's a good question. First off, it's not like I put it up on a wall or anything like that. I had to be very, very creative I unwrapped the TV and left just the base on there, right? And then I had to like lay the TV on its back.
Okay.
But I literally put like cushioning on the back, so it was just cushioning enough, if that makes sense. So now I have the bottom where I could put its legs on there. That's where I didn't need John Schaefer. Was able to get that on. And then I had to figure out a way to kind of bring it back up, and then I was good to go.
You did this all solo?
All by myself.
But is it now like permanently set up, or is it just like on a carpet?
Yeah, it's not permanently set up. That's when you're going to come over.
No, what is the plan to permanently set it up? Is it going to go up on a wall and have like the swinging?
I don't think I'm going to hang it, but I'm going to put it up on like a base. I gotta figure out which base that I want to buy first. Once I buy it, you're coming over and we're putting it up.
So is the place now like finished? Like everything's perfect?
Hell no.
How long will it take for this place to be pristine?
I think in the next 2 weeks, I'll have everything that is important. After that, it's all just, it doesn't matter after that. Like nothing crazy. Everything else can wait after that. So a little dining room table,
you got a bed,
little
couch.
Yeah, couch is coming.
What about the podcast setup for all our like YouTube
podcast setup is there, but that will be more of I'm basically, what do I got left? Another month of content, and then so really my focus will be more on the following season.
I'm going to be very jealous if you put together some ridiculous podcast studio with
won't
lighting
be ridiculous.
Well,
no, you have to do that.
That's 4K and doing everything. What do you mean? What do you mean you have to do it?
As in, this is kind of part of the reason why I have a space for it. So why am I not going to do that? Not 4K,
well, I need to see what
but I'm
going
to improve, definitely improve the whole thing.
I'm going to need to see that.
Okay.
I just
don't
sit
get
at the kitchen
angry
table.
at it.
I'm very jealous of people that have like a podcast space. I'm very jealous of that. I might move just to have a podcast space.
I added the you don't eat meat to the itinerary
for Monterey. Thank you. But I do eat fish. All right. If you missed anything today, join us in Chula Vista tomorrow.
Starting at 2
to 5:30, and then the Mexico match you can hear on 760, pre-match coverage at 5:30. So join us down at Chula Vista tomorrow. For Brent and Alan, I'm John. Keep it here. This has been Schaefer and Sliwa, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. Peace.